Hello, hello. All right. Live on TikTok, live on YouTube, live on Twitch. Let's go. Dark Mark, how's it going? Can you guys hear me? It's been a few days. Does my setup still work? I have no reason to believe it doesn't. But welcome. Hello. All the football for the day is over. Somewhat. Do I answer comments on live? Yes, I do. What's your comment or question? You can even come on and ask me the question. Somebody just DM me. I'm going to keep this anonymous, obviously. So porn being considered as cheating, is that fact or opinion? It's opinion. My BF always gaslights me and says, at least he's watching porn and not out actually cheating, but also texts females and says the same thing. That it's not cheating because he's not being physical with them. My question is, why do you allow him to gaslight you? I tell him how both these things bother me, yet he continues to do so. Doesn't bother you that much. I know my worth, do you? And I don't want to leave him, but my friend always says I should step away from the relationship. I'm sorry to hear that, period. What are you wanting to do? Question mark. There you go. All right. I hope not. Eric hopes it's not. What does your girlfriend think? I hope Pradeep gets on here tonight. Angela, hi there. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you? Just stay there and let him walk all over you for about 20 years. Yeah, that's what happens. Give me a like if you guys like my content. Give me a follow if you don't follow me already. Like and share this. Let's get this going fast. Okay? If you want to hop on and share your story, share an opinion, debate, argue, talk about whatever, I'm happy to do that. My name is Austin Hamilton. I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with the betrayal trauma that ensues. Candy, love your content. Thank you, Candy. Appreciate that. Can I join? I don't have a thought. Yes, you can join. In order to join as a guest, you can have 0 followers. How do I know that? Because I've had people with 0 followers join. So, would you like to be my guest? It's not cheating. It's you and your own body. No one else. Respect autonomy. Is it okay to watch together? My question would be, why? Can a marriage survive an affair? Mine did. Plenty of other ones do too. Yes. Marriages can survive affairs. It's not cheating. It's you and your own body.
Hello.
Hey there. What's going on?
Just came across your live and I figured it'd be a fun conversation.
All right. Well, is porn cheating?
Man, that's a complicated one, and I think that's where like the conversation gets a little bit fun. So what is your stance on it?
Well, I'm asking the question, but I'll
Yeah.
answer. If you're in a committed monogamous relationship with a partner and you've said something like, I love you, I'm committed to you, you only, mind, body, and soul till death do us part, something like that. In my opinion, if you deviate from that, that would be going against the agreed upon rules in the relationship and therefore cheating.
Yeah, I would find that fair. So I'm very much so like a definition person. So when I look up a definition of cheating on your partner, it says cheating, also known as infidelity, is when a person in a monogamous relationship has an emotional or sexual relationship with someone else without their partner's consent. Infidelity also doesn't have a one size fits all definition. So I think that that's a discussion within your partner, and if that's something that is agreed upon, or is
Yeah,
very clear.
well, based on that definition, you got to look at the definition of monogamy,
Yes,
right? So, yeah, that's what the agreement would be, in as that definition puts it.
but also stating at the end that it doesn't have a one size fits all.
What doesn't?
Cheating and boundaries. Or so monogamy is a relationship with only one partner at a time rather than multiple partners. Monogamous relationship can be sexual or emotional, but usually both. Many modern relationships are monogamous.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where when you look up the definition of monogamy, and I appreciate you actually looking into the definitions. That's where you have to look
Yeah,
at what
I think that's
qualifies
where
not being
the truth
monogamous. If
lies.
you're well, yeah, if you're masturbating to another person on a screen, that does seem sexual in nature, and you do have a relationship in a sense with the person on a screen. Certainly, OnlyFans would qualify as that, amongst other things.
Yeah, no, I definitely think OnlyFans definitely. I feel like. Can we say the p word on here? I totally forget
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
that's
you
on the
can.
screen. Okay,
Yeah,
so I definitely think that porn is like kind of gray waters. I think OnlyFans is very, very cut, dry, and clear
hmm
because you're individually seeking out an individual versus just something that's coming across like a page or a category or something like that. Like I feel like it's way more connected, but that's just not my belief system. But then if we really go into my belief system, I think that porn's actually an extremely toxic, awful thing that should be banned and should stop. That's only something that I've came across within looking into myself. Not that I ever had an issue with it, but I believe that it pushes hookup culture, fetishization. I believe that it creates difficulties being satisfied
Pradeep, get
within
on
your
here,
own
bro.
sexual life. Within your own sexual life. I think that it's a really toxic thing that's been stuck in a vicious cycle. And I think that softcore porn isn't also talked about enough where it's just thrown in our faces constantly.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. Cool. You said you didn't have that much of an issue with it. How long has it been since you had an issue with porn, or do you still watch it occasionally?
I'd say that I've slipped up from time to time. I mean, I'm in a relationship, and we live together, and we're around each other all the time, so I don't really feel a need for it. But I mean, I'm not gonna say that she hasn't like gone out of town or something like that, and I'm like, shit, it's kind of slipped up or whatever it is. But it's not something that I'm proud of. Like, I always laugh, like if you kind of take the humor of it, like there's a rap line that says, "Once I come to my senses." I think that we've all been there. Like, if we masturbated to a video and then like as soon as you come, you're like, "Oh, this is fucking disgusting. What the fuck am I looking at?" Like, you're just like, "Damn."
Yeah. Well, and that's
I
where you
think
can
it.
make
Really, I think it really. I
a
think it
change
hits
after
really.
that.
But yeah, so is essentially is your goal to like spread awareness to get rid of porn?
Yeah. Yeah. I do this to help people, well, not to get rid of porn necessarily, though that would be great, but to help people stop having a desire to watch porn and be unfaithful to their spouses. That's my goal.
It's a good thing. I'll drop you a follow, and let's hope that you could definitely make an impact because I think it's a problem. I
Yeah.
think people
Thanks, man.
also, I think people are too scared to go talk to women. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Later.
All right. See ya. Pradeep, we got to get you on here, man. Come on. The cat is out of the bag. Is an assistant coach position available? Oh, not right now. Are you looking? Oh, Pradeep. Oh no. No, I'm accepting all these people other than Pradeep. Sorry. Well, I got to talk to Pradeep, Misty and Rick, okay?
Okay.
Pradeep,
Okay.
what's up?
Hey coach, hey coach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I cannot talk so loud. You know why, right?
Is your wife around?
Yeah. She's
Uh-oh.
going. Coach, I have a plan.
Okay. What's your plan?
I'm going to make another account. Okay, and I'm
Oh,
going to. Yeah,
good plan.
yeah. She's going to. She knows about Pradeep, so I have to be right back. Okay.
Okay. Are
Coach,
you're
coach,
gonna get on a different? Tell me what the name is so I can bring you on here.
yeah, I have to make the account, coach.
Make it Pradeep backwards. P Darp.
Bit, okay, okay.
P
Sounds
Darp,
good.
and then come back on here and request.
Oh, okay, coach. Okay.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Bye,
bye.
Pradeep. Bye, P Darp. All right. Sorry about that. If you guys see PDARP come in the chat, let me know. All right, Misty, how's it going? You can unmute yourself now.
It's good. The reason I requested to come on was because it said he was porn cheating. Is that the subject?
Yep, that's what it says.
Okay, me and we weren't married, but we were together for years, and he was definitely my soulmate. We watched it together. We worked together, and he was kind of disabled, and we were together all the time. So I know he wasn't cheating on me, but I think that he probably would have if he could have, if he could have because of the porn. But I watched it with him. You know what I mean? We did it as a thing together. So I don't know. I guess it would make somebody go out and cheat, maybe, but that would be on the person. You know what I'm saying? That would be their morals and values. They would have to, because I watched it. I watched it without him a couple times, and I didn't go out and cheat.
Why did you guys get divorced?
He died. He died.
I'm sorry. I thought you said you got
died and
divorced.
left me. Yeah, 2.5 years ago, he died and left me. But I guess it depends on if you love somebody that deep, Because I loved him. I loved him with my heart and soul, and I still do. And I don't even date or anything since he died. And I haven't watched any porn, or I hadn't touched myself or anything. That's just real since he died, because he was what turned me on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I probably shouldn't even come on this prank and do what you're talking about. But we did. We watched it together a lot, like every day. He was like addicted to it, but he brought me in with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And
That's interesting.
I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
I don't know how to hang up yet.
All right. Pradeep, PDARP. Robberry, hi there. How's it going?
Hear me okay?
Yes, I can. What's up?
Hi, my name's actually Courtney, if you want to call
Courtney.
me that.
Hi, Courtney. I'm Austin. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Austin. Nice to meet you. I've been following you for a while. This is a really deep subject for me, very near to my heart. Unfortunately, my partner has an addiction with porn, and I'm such an empathetic, forgiving person, and I love everything about him but that, and it really has been tearing up our relationship, and yeah, I consider it cheating just because of the fact that he puts it above me, above our relationship, above even things that cause him joy. It's not only destroying our relationship, but destroying his own happiness and peace of mind, my peace of mind. It's ruining our trust, our connection. He replaces it with sex above me. So I think that's why I call it, cheating, because of how much it affects us in our relationship.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. How long have you been dealing with that?
We've been together almost 3 years now. He confessed it to me in the very beginning. I work in the mental health field, so he was very vulnerable and open because I was non-judgmental about it. I realized that it was an addiction and that's something that could, get help. But as I have grown to know it personally in our relationship, I have become to judge it more, and he's stopped telling me things about it anymore, like, oh, it's not your problem, it's mine, even though it does affect the both of us. So it's been almost a few years now that I've known about it, and that it's been just getting worse and worse.
And I'm sorry, but did you say you guys are married?
No, so that's also the hard thing, is like, is it infidelity if it's not marriage? But I guess when you're trying to build a future with this person, and you're committing to this person, you've gone over the conversation about commitment and loyalty, and trying to have a monogamous relationship with this person. And I grew up Christian, so I understand, living with someone, dating them, sleeping with them, even when, you're not married, is also, I guess, not correct in some Christians' eyes. I'm kind of more spiritual than religious now. So just kind of competing with that, with my own faith, and just trying to figure out, what's worth sticking around for if we're not technically married.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have kids?
We do not know. So I guess there
Okay.
is less of a pressure there to leave this person, but I guess I'm just wanting, I have this fix 'em mentality, which is really bad. But I guess those are my own demons that I need to work on as well.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
Can you expand the question?
Your fix 'em mentality. What do you mean by
Oh,
that?
okay. Yeah. So I guess wanting their values to align with mine and really seeing potential in this person in most aspects, really having our emotional intelligence kind of match up, being able to have intellectual conversations with this person, but just having, that one big thing that I feel like if I could just work on this with them, that maybe it will fix the relationship as a whole. But yeah, not really sure about the you can, lead a horse to water, you can't force him to drink type of thing.
Yeah. Well, and you've been doing this for a long time now, right? At least a few years. And so the
Yeah, it
question is
seems long enough for me.
yeah. So, how much longer will you continue doing that? Because it sounds like you know it's not a situation you want to be in,
Right.
right? And you can't change them, though
Yeah.
you're trying really hard, or at least being patient enough until a miracle happens, which it can, I suppose,
Right.
right? But where are you asking anything differently of him?
Yeah, so when I first found things out, it was kind of a trusting relationship. I knew his password to everything. But because I had realized outwardly that it was affecting our relationship, I became more suspicious than I was in the beginning. So I abused my knowledge of the password to be able to look into social media and things like that. And I noticed, the bigger social media, I don't know what I can say on here, but the ones where you can, send pictures to people, things like that, notice that the majority of them were females, girls, lots of porn content. And I realized that the relationships were very, what would you call them? Just not very friendly. So I had asked him to stop following these people if it meant nothing. If these girls meant nothing to him but sex, and just kind of cutting off those relationships, and to him, that was a big step. It was hard to get him to, walk a mile in my shoes and realize that that was hurting me, and that was something that was, hurtful. I kind of asked him, if I did the things you did, would you stay with me? Would you feel offended or hurt or betrayed? And I think that's when he realized, oh yeah, if I turn the tables, that is, when I can see that that is hurtful and betrayal. And I think that's when he started to change a little, but it was little by little, and it was me having to push and force, not really him waking up on his own. And that I think also kind of drove the wrench into the cog kind of in the relationship, because I had become the nagging one, the suspicious one who looks in his phone and things like that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, kind of turns the victim.
Well, is he still watching it?
He is, yeah, and that's another thing I'm asking him. Can you consider therapy? Since this is an addiction and this is affecting your mental health. And he says, "Oh yeah, I'll consider it," but I don't see steps taken to do anything. All I've
Well,
seen is that now he's changed his password.
yeah. Well, he's not going to really consider it until you keep on lighting the fire, right?
Yeah, I
And
hate I hate being the person to give the ultimatum, because in
but
the
it's
end
not.
I'm the one. Oh,
Well, here's it. It doesn't have to be an ultimatum. An ultimatum is you must do this or else. Like you
right.
you you need to go to therapy or else I'm leaving. A boundary would be something like, hey, you can do whatever you want. You can watch porn if you want. I don't care. But I'm somebody who's going to choose to not be in a relationship with somebody who watches porn. And I know, whether you want to believe this or not, I would say it's true. I know that somebody who has a history of porn use, they're not going to get free from it unless they get some sort of help. So
Right.
you know what, I'm choosing not to be in a relationship with somebody who watches porn and
Yeah.
and or with somebody who has a history of it and who hasn't gotten help. So you do whatever you
Yeah.
want, but if you're not going to do those things, then I'm going to make a choice not to be in a relationship with you.
Ah,
Very different than an
okay. I like
ultimatum,
that
which is,
reframing. Yeah.
yeah, an ultimatum is you do this or else. A boundary
Right.
is here's what I'm going to do if my request is not honored.
Yeah. I
It,
really
it
appreciate
gives,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it gives you the power. It gives you the not power in like a controlling sense, but like it
Right.
gives you agency.
Of my own
Saying,
life. And
yes,
yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. That helps me feel, because yeah, it is a powerless feeling. You know, you love somebody, you care about them, you want what's best for your relationship. Everything else seems fine, and then it's just that, to me it does seem like infidelity. Like I'm trying to build a future with this person, and this thing is getting in the way. And I mean, we can't even consider commitment or marriage or any of that until it gets fixed. I mean, it's been almost 2 years, and he hasn't expressed any deep feelings for me. I almost feel platonic with him. So it's
Yeah,
it's a hard, yeah, feeling. So I appreciate that advice. I like that
yeah,
reframing.
yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Austin.
All right, take
Have a
care.
great night.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Arabella.
Hello, can you hear
Hey
me?
there. I can hear you. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Um, so I wouldn't, I don't know. So I have been dating my boyfriend. I recently turned 21, so I'm very like it's a mature thing to like admit this, but it's not really something I'm like ashamed of, I guess. It's just kind of, it makes me feel like almost insecure, and I've never been like a type of woman that was like insecure, like anything like that. And I guess it also has to do with like the generation we're in nowadays. It's very like, I guess like,
Hey, Rob Berry,
work.
hang out. I'm going to read a quote from a book here in a second. So I want you to hear this. Sorry, go ahead, Arabella.
No, it's okay. So, some of my friends do OF, like it's very normalized nowadays. And I think that that's where like a lot of women and like even men think like, oh, my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever it is, like, oh, it's okay. They want to watch other people have this, like, you know what I mean? Like this intimacy online. Like it's okay. But it's like, I don't know. I found stuff like on his phone
It's
before.
not intimacy, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it makes me feel just like really bad as like, especially as like a girlfriend. I don't know. It's not like something I like to see because it's, oh, okay, well, you're watching these other type of girls. They look, regardless if they looked like me or not. It's just and I found it on his phone like multiple times. And it's not like he's subscribed to them necessarily. It's just like regular like online websites, but it's still the same thing, like you're doing something, like you're getting gratification of watching these other girls and like whatever. And it's just like, oh, well, I don't think about it like that. And I'm like, well, why are you watching it then, if that makes sense? So I don't know, but I definitely think it's cheating because it's like if I can't even look at somebody else and think anything sexual, let alone go looking for it. You know what I mean? So sorry, I just yapped.
Yeah. No, the question is why are you staying in that, right? Why are you tolerating that? This will be helpful for you too.
Yeah.
Rob Berry, I wanted you to hear this on the issue of powerlessness. This comes from the Betrayal Bind. This brings us to the
Okay.
issue of powerlessness. Part of the stunning pain of betrayal is the sheer powerlessness to stop it. We did not choose to be cheated on and lied to. We did not choose the STI we were given. We did not choose the financial wreckage, the impact on children, the public humiliation, the loss of our relationship, the loss of safety in our home, etc. The shitstorm of pain that flows out of cheating comes whether we want it or not. The loss of control over our bodies adds to our despair. We can't stop shaking. We vomit, we twitch, we scream, we cry and rage. I'm going to mute you because I'm getting feedback. In rage, we lose hair, suffer panic attacks, we are sleepless. Powerlessness can be one of the most dangerous emotions for humans to feel. History has shown us that prolonged powerlessness cannot be sustained. Revolt, revolution, protest, and war are often born out of people's waning ability to tolerate situations in which they feel powerless. Powerlessness makes humans desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. Betrayed partners' rage, attempts to control, threats, demands, hypervigilance, and violence are all rooted in the powerlessness we feel. Behavior that violates everything we believe and hold dear can suddenly spew out of us. These behaviors are often self-destructive, harmful to the relationship, and unhelpful to those who love us. But like the wolf caught in the trap, we will chew our own paw off if it means gaining some sense of control and relief from the unremitting powerlessness of being betrayed. For these reasons, betrayal trauma treatment focuses on helping us move out of powerlessness into a state of personal empowerment. Learning to set boundaries, manage our trauma symptoms, shift our mindset and core beliefs, find and use our voice, and ask for what we need are all part of effective treatment. However, as discussed above, the fear of potential loss that learning new skills creates is a significant barrier for betrayed partners. The very skills and behaviors that can resolve the torturous feeling of powerlessness are the same skills that may create more loss, shame, and yes, more powerlessness. That's from the Betrayal Bind. So here's the thing is, we can focus on the partner and their behavior all day long. And this goes both ways, by the way, if it's a man who's been betrayed or a woman. But the question is, how can you move into agency for yourself and out of powerlessness? Where do I get my bookmarking things? Amazon. I get all these little sticky things. I put them all over the books that I read. So, Arabella, I'd ask you the same question is how can you find your voice? How can you find your power amidst this and stop tolerating what you've been accustomed to tolerating in your relationship? I don't know if you want to answer that or not, but.
Yeah, so complete honesty. So I was a bartender, I was a dancer, so it became very like normal to be sexualized and like be okay with watching other people get sexualized, whether it's a man, woman, whatever it is. So I guess like that's why I don't really like think of it as like okay, like this is like a deep rooted problem, because I've always been so like, okay, whatever, it's a normal thing, until like I met someone that I love and I'm like, okay, wait, this isn't something you should be doing if you genuinely love someone. You know what I mean? And like you said, like, it does go both ways. So it doesn't matter, girl or man, whatever. But you're also 100% correct on the other part where it's like, I do have some type of responsibility for accepting this type of behavior. So I don't know how I can like, get over that or maybe do something different. I don't know like I don't really know what to do.
Well, I would say for you, given what you just shared, this, in my perspective, is way bigger than just a partner who's watching porn, right? You got to go way back into your story, where this started and was rooted into you, into sexualizing yourself, what got you to where you were, now what got you in this relationship. There's going to be a lot of layers to unpack in this thing.
Yeah.
Is your partner's porn use a problem? Yeah, it is. Right, but there's a lot more to look at here than just that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, and even looking at where you formed your views of sex and sexuality, and what your role as a woman. I'm assuming you're a woman. Never assumed. 2024. What your role as a woman in this culture should be, where you were taught that, where you were led to believe that, whom or what first taught you that, right? And now permitting it into a relationship, and then something changed.
That's definitely a very, very good question. I think I definitely have to think about that more, because I really can't like pinpoint like a certain situation, or like an experience, but I don't know. Like what would you say like I could do personally, like after this live ends or whatever, like what can I do like for myself to maybe get some like more confidence and being like, you know what, I'm not putting up with something like this, like this isn't okay.
Well, what do you think you could do?
I don't know, because I feel like every time I've said something about it, it's not really heard. It's more so like he's just deleting stuff now, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, so possibly, working with a good coach or therapist could help with that. But my question would be, when did you first learn that when you speak up for something or you use your voice and you get shut down, you give up, right? You stop trying.
Yeah, I guess like watching like my parents and like how I grew up and stuff like that. And like even like with friends, like it just became a very normal thing to don't like I grew up with like expect the worst, but like hope for the best. So usually it's hope for the best. Like, oh no, I'm sorry. It's like expect the best, hope for the worst type of situation. I don't know. I'm kind of tired, so I'm sorry
Hope
if that doesn't make sense. But
hope for the best,
yeah,
expect the worst.
yeah. So I grew up with it being like opposite. Like, you know, don't get your hopes up because usually it's not going to go how you want it to go. So that kind of stuck with me like my whole life. So I'm like, you know what, whatever. It's not, no one's listening, whatever. I'll just, you know, still deal with it. So,
Yeah. So there's probably something rooted in that, right? Like I would even encourage you go back and write about it, journal about it. Like when you first learned that lesson and how that has played out throughout your life. No, you have a great sense of awareness now on
thank
wanting
you.
something to be different. Yeah. But you gotta want to fight for that change. So like just look at that. When did you learn that? Who taught it to you?
I
Right?
would
And then look
definitely say, sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, I would definitely say my parents. I feel like a lot of us learn stuff from our parents, and then, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really ever change, unfortunately. So I haven't really ever thought about stuff too much because, you know, the real world gets ahead of us and we start trying to catch up with everything else. So everything, like, even like if I didn't come across this live, I honestly probably never would have even attempted to like gain like the security to say something and be like, you know what, this isn't right. I'm not dealing with this anymore. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and even just noticing that, now you can do something differently with it. So again, your partner's porn use is not the problem. It's a problem,
yeah.
and it's pointing you towards something else. You probably got some anger in there. Most betrayed partners do when they find out. But anger as a feeling, it's protecting you or it's trying to protect you, but really what it's doing is trying to help you make a change.
Okay.
So think of anger as a resourceful emotion because it's your body fighting and saying, I want something to be different. Anger's not bad. Anger turned towards aggression oftentimes is a problem, but
Yeah.
anger's not bad.
Okay. Thank you so
So,
much. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Is there a book or like something like you recommend for me to read? Because I love to read, so I like to like gain knowledge and stuff. So I would
yeah,
love to like read or
yeah,
anything that
great. So
you.
I would recommend a few things. One, I would recommend this book called Unwanted by Jay Stringer.
Okay.
And I would also recommend this one I just read out of the Betrayal Bind. The Betrayal Bind is more technical and it's longer.
Okay.
It's
I
very
just
good.
screenshotted both.
Yeah,
Sorry if
yeah.
you
So
could hear that.
yeah, no problem. Definitely read both of those. I'd start with Unwanted. It's an easier read. You'll certainly resonate with it. It goes into a lot of childhood, family of origin things, attachment theory, internal family systems, things like that.
Okay, perfect.
The Betrayal Bind does as well, but it's focused more just around betrayal, which you are dealing with. And Unwanted is going to be a helpful book as well. And then I'd encourage you to get in community as well. So I'm a coach. I have groups for women who are struggling with this. But whatever that is for you, if you have, you can find a therapist or a coach or a support group in your area. You got to start talking about these. I'm going to say problems, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
These challenges in your life, say, in order to move forward, because we can't change what we don't name. We need to name it clearly in order to move forward.
Yeah.
Right.
That's 100% right.
Yeah. And even in this short conversation here, what I make of it is you've gotten a little bit more clarity on what you're actually dealing with. And now you probably will be better equipped to move forward into something new.
Thank you so much. I really appreciated this. Thank you for letting me come on.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
Come
Thank
back,
you so much.
read those books and come back and tell me what you learned.
I would love to. Have a great night.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. A lot of these books have tongue twisting. So yeah, they do. The Betrayal Bind is very, very good. And so is Unwanted. D, you picked up Unwanted. How was it? Mama Kels with the Galaxy. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Love that. All right. Where did that guy go who said, he said, I have a great argument. I love when people say that. All right. Trexler is online. Hi there. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. What's up?
Well, of course, I tend to agree with the question. I mean, one thing that I kind of notice is
Hold on. The question is not asserting an opinion; it's asking a question.
Oh, well, yeah, I'd say so.
You say that porn is cheating.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
I'd say that it is, and I'd say that it applies to both. I know that whenever I've been in a relationship, which has only been a couple times, but each time that I have, I've struggled in the past with pornography consumption because I sometimes lack that like emotional and like physical connection with people. So I used it as a supplement for it, which is not a healthy way of using it, obviously, like any addiction. But one thing that I noticed was whenever I was in a relationship, the urge to use it just disappeared. It was just like I never wanted to even look at it. I didn't even think of it. Whenever
How long did those relationships last?
Unfortunately, not very long. The first one, the lady I was talking to, that was the whole thing. But basically, she had lied about the fact that she already had a boyfriend who was in the Marines. So that was unfortunate. But, and the second one, it was very healthy. It was actually very recently. And she had to move away, and we just kind of stopped talking, which is very unfortunate.
Okay. So the relationships didn't last very long?
Yeah. Like the first one lasted probably 2-3 months, maybe. And the second one lasted the same amount of time.
Okay. All right. And then when you got out of the relationships, did you find yourself going back to porn?
After a while, yeah. Before I met my first girlfriend, I was abstaining from it because I knew that it was like a healthy thing to do. And then said partner, she was kind of a very sexually active person. So I lost my virginity to her. And basically she was very sexually forthcoming. And that kind of rubbed off on me where over time I became more lustful, I guess, and I really hate it. Because before that, I was even more like withdrawn and more like, of course I'm still respectful, but before that I was just not even really thinking about it. Thinking about even having a relationship. I wanted to wait until marriage, that kind of thing. But
Okay.
I think that kind of rubs off.
How often do you watch porn?
Honestly, probably it can vary. It can be once a week, and then sometimes it can be once a day. But normally this is rather embarrassing, but I don't really watch porn anymore. So online, there's these AI chatbots things, and I find interest in the talking and like the leading up to it part almost more. I find that more arousing, I guess, for me, which I don't know, but
Yeah. What do you imagine would be different in your life if you didn't watch porn or were using these AI chat tools?
what was it? What's the question?
What do you imagine would be different in your life if you didn't have those things around?
Well, that's hard for me to formulate. I kind like there's a lot of things that kind of were in my life. I kind of grew up not going to church. My family didn't really. It was kind of my family's very separated, so there wasn't a whole lot of emotional, like constantly being like there wasn't a whole lot of support systems in terms of like talking to every family member, and it wasn't a very close knit family. And of course, only until when I was around 16, 17 did I have any interest in religion. Not that religion is super important, but it gives at least community for those who don't believe in it. And I of course believe in it, and that is something that I've been trying to get myself into, but I get kind of dragged away from it because of my own vices. And I feel shame, so I end up not going.
Okay.
Because I'm like, oh, I haven't been going, therefore I shouldn't be there because these people are so much better than me. They deserve to be there, kind of thing.
Oh, what's your faith orientation?
Deciding between Catholicism and Orthodoxy. However, I know a lot of Catholic friends, and I think I might end up choosing to be Catholic.
Okay. Well, first of all, a great place to find hypocrites is in churches, and there's always room for one more. And statistically, porn use is about 2% higher amongst married people who claim to be Christian men who are married than non-Christian men who are married.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like get in. Like I just
No,
believe.
I'm trying to help make you feel better about being involved in a faith community. That you're not alone in what you're dealing with.
Yeah. But and I know that I shouldn't feel ashamed about that. It's just an internal struggle that I have that's subconscious.
Yeah.
It's something that I need to get over.
Yeah, well, shame festers in the darkness, but it can't stand being spoken to the light. Who else in your life knows that you struggle with this issue?
Well, I don't talk with it to my dad or my dad's girlfriend, nor do I don't really talk with it with family because we don't really go to each other all that much to talk about things. The person
who
who
in your life knows about it?
my therapist that I haven't talked to them in a while, and maybe couple friends. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been a little while since I've spoken to them about it.
Okay, so it's pretty secret.
Yeah. Well.
Not that I'm suggesting you need to go around just talking like, hey, everyone, I have
Yeah.
a porn problem, right?
I guess that would be the best word for it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have much community?
Most of my community is online. In person, I don't have any. I recently moved around 6 hours away north to go for college.
Okay.
And so the nearest in-person friends that I have, apart from my roommates, are 6 hours away.
And you're in college. Are you
Yeah.
in like a 4-year university?
Currently in a community college at the moment.
Okay, but
So
you're
it's
living.
not really community filled. The college that I'm intending to go to, hopefully within a year, does have much more community within it.
Got it. Okay. Well, community is so important, man.
Yeah.
Like having people around to talk to, and what you're doing is you're kind of living in a fantasy world. You're literally curating fantasies with these AI tools, as opposed to getting out there, which is very risky and vulnerable to get out there and meet people and be in community, to be seen and known for who you are.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm not suggesting that by itself is going to, cure the porn problem, so to speak, but it'll certainly help you feel more connected. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. It's connection with other people.
Yeah, exactly.
How old are you?
22 at the moment.
Okay.
Going to be 23 this next month.
Yeah. Are you wanting to stop?
Yes. It's been hard to think about it. I just stumbled across this live. I've followed you, but I didn't know that I'd followed you for a while. And I just happened to stay and then was like, maybe I'll hop on.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah.
All right. Well, you can do it, man. You got to retool yourself. I'd encourage you start talking about it. You said you had a therapist. Re-engage with a therapist. Find a place to be able to be in community with it. Find some trustworthy friends you can talk about it who aren't going to shame or judge you. And if they do, gives you information on the type of friends they are.
Tells me that maybe they're not the best people to be around.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying you need to not hang out with people just because they look at porn, but if they're going to be shaming you and condemning you for it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And consider reading this book, man, as well. Unwanted. It's a very good book.
I'll take a look.
Put you on the path. Yeah.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Well, thanks for sharing, man. All right. Bye bye. K Blitz.
What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on?
Homie just needs homeboys. Real shit. I don't know.
Possibly.
I'm not a therapist. I don't want to disrespect him or say anything, but like he needs some homeboys or
Hey, okay.
something like that.
Hey. So I just asked you don't talk about previous guests, right? So what's going on? Is porn cheating?
Nah, there's
All
no
right.
way it's cheating. There's no way it's cheating. Now, unless there's a caveat here. So the only way that it would be cheating is if you sat down with somebody specifically and said, these are the boundaries of our relationship. These are the things that bother me. You know what I'm saying? Because that case, going outside after 7 on a Sunday could be cheating, depending on the boundaries of the relationship. But is porn cheating by itself? Absolutely not. The idea of it isn't.
What do you think is the default expectation in a relationship?
There isn't.
That we should be masturbating. Okay, so you don't think there's any default expectation when two people get in a committed relationship?
No, not unless they've spoken about it. That might
None.
be the issue that people think. No,
Okay.
that might be the main problem with relationships is that people don't sit down and actually discuss and have conversations about what are the boundaries.
Well, yeah. So I agree that should happen for sure, especially with pornography in 2024. But you don't even think do you even think the default expectation in a relationship should be like we don't sleep with other people?
Well, no, because I sleep with other people in my relationship. It just depends on the boundaries. I just love
Okay.
her. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like, but I get that that's the default for some people. Like I hear you what you're saying, but I think that again, it's about having real conversations when you get with somebody, like really real conversations. And I think a lot of times we do have these constructs that we put ourselves in, but we don't recognize if other people are within the same constructs, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you have those conversations and it becomes different, I think some men think that toys are cheating, just like women. A lot of the women think corn is cheating. No, it's your insecurities. I'm not gonna lie to you. It could be okay if it isn't, and I'm not disrespecting you when I say that. We all have insecurities, so I'm not saying I'm perfect, right? But your insecurity doesn't make something bad. It's an inside thing you got to talk about or talking about with your partner.
Yeah.
That's my
So your default expectation is not one of monogamy, and you actually in your relationship you actually act on that where you do sleep with other people.
So again, I don't have a default, but if she's monogamous and I want to be with her, then monogamy is the relationship. Right? I'm very clear on when I get with somebody, if I'm going to spend my time being with somebody, we have conversations for real about what is the boundaries within the relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? And
No, I agree.
because I can't.
I fully agree. I fully agree.
School.
I am not disagreeing with you. I just want to get clear on how you handle your relationships. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'll tell you one thing. There's a default for me. Don't disrespect me as a person. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's it. And the only way you're going to know what disrespects me past being rude and shit like that is me talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
Is there a mutuality to that respect statement? Like, and you also won't disrespect the other person?
I don't expect people not disrespect me if I'm going to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't work. It's not. I don't think I'm better than the women I date and vice versa. You know what I mean? I don't have that ideology. I grew up with good women in my life and stuff, so I don't have that type of issue. But why do you think it is cheating? Respectfully.
Well, I think if you're in a committed monogamous relationship with another person where you've said something like "I love you and only you, mind, body, and soul, till death do us part," if you deviate from that, I think it's cheating. But I mean, I think well, I think with porn you are using somebody else. You're using somebody else's body for your sexual pleasure.
But you're not touching them, right? So I mean, like I can hear you. It's like the same thing I asked with the toys, right? And I don't want to get into a circular argument. I'm just asking.
Hold on. If touching is the issue, is exchanging pictures cheating?
I think that it's more of the conversation you have with the person when you're exchanging them. So I think to me it would be the emotional side of it would be way more than just the pictures, right?
Well, yeah.
Like,
There's physical affairs and emotional affairs, right?
right.
I would put
Lying and
pornography. Pornography certainly isn't physical unless you want to consider the fact that you're usually masturbating while doing it. That's pretty physical.
Of course. I have one question before you drop me. I know you got other people you want to talk to, but I have one question for everybody here. Is fantasizing or fantasy books that women read cheating? Because they always talk about porn, but they never talk about their fantasy books. You know what I'm saying? And we know them fantasy just be nasty. So is that cheating?
Yeah, it comes up often here. I think, in my opinion, I think it's categorically different. However, you know,
Ooh.
it's also
Why, okay,
it's
real
also
quick, why is it different?
because there's not an actual person on it. But I think that's where I think it's in a separate category, right? Because porn actually is another person on a screen. But I think in principle, it's the same thing, in my opinion.
Because women fantasize in their mind and men are more physical and are sort of more visual in nature or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
And
it's
yeah,
more
that's kind
nuanced. It's more nuanced than that. But yeah,
simplistic how I put it. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, I hope I was explained myself correctly to you. I think you understand where I'm coming from. You know, and whether you agree or not doesn't matter. Like I think I understand where you're coming.
I don't disagree with you. You're very clear.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
I appreciate you, man. I'll follow you because I enjoy these type of conversations with people who aren't necessarily the same as me. But definitely, I think everybody just talk to your partner. It doesn't matter what you want. Just talk to your partner because we don't read minds. Have a good one, bro.
Thanks for sharing, man. See ya. Conversation is everything, people. Conversation is everything.
Hi.
B. Dalton. Hi there. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What's up?
So I've been listening to you for a couple days. Actually, my husband was sitting next to me. He was getting pretty upset. He was like, "Are you trying to tell me something?" So we've had a problem with it, obviously, in the past. I would say that now I do consider it cheating, just because, like the previous person said, it's all about boundaries, and so at the beginning of a relationship, it wasn't an issue for me at all. So we've been married for a long time, 18 years. And I was pretty young when we got married, and I'm a lot younger than he is. So I came into the relationship like being that cool girl that accepts all kinds of things, so I was pretty sure of myself at the time, and I just didn't feel threatened. I didn't think much of it. Until it was an issue. I realized that after a couple years, I don't exactly remember when I found out the first time, that he was choosing it instead of me. And that's when it became an issue. And, of course, I went into these, like, diving into research and all the bad things that it causes and the damage that it does to a person's brain and their relationship and all of that. Something that I didn't see at the time, and now I do. And I think a lot of the people that don't consider it cheating, it's because it just hasn't hit that point. You know what I mean? Like where it directly affects them, their relationship. They don't think that they are going to get old eventually. Like that's I think that's how I felt. Maybe it's definitely affected my self-esteem.
What got you to that point?
Like I said, that he was doing it. So he was doing it behind my back. Like I was okay with him doing it, us watching it together, and I just didn't know to the extent that he was watching it. And like I said, that he was watching it without me, and that he never wanted to have sex with me, but he was making time for that. And so that's what got me to that point. Then I found stuff on his computer, and it was by accident. Like I wasn't even looking for anything. I don't remember. I was looking for some document, and that's how I found it. And then I started to look at the stuff that he was looking at, and then I started to question, like, okay, this woman don't look like me, and does he not like the way I look? Does he prefer, this type of woman? And I like it just started. I started questioning myself, my worth, his attraction to me. It was very damaging to my self-esteem, and we still have issues, because then it's been 2 times that I found out that he was still doing it through a relationship. Yeah.
So he was watching with you the other night, watching my live. What was the conversation like after that?
He's a very reserved man, so that's the other problem, that he's not very expressive, and I am, but sometimes I feel like I don't get through him, so I'll do these things like I guess that's my method. Sometimes, that I found you. I was just scrolling through TikTok, and he was just sitting there, and I turned up the volume, and he just said, he's like, is there something that you want to tell me? But I mean, obviously he didn't want to argue. It was his bedtime, but he was bothered. Usually he's pretty good about taking it, because he messed up and how much it affects me. But I I don't know. There was probably something that within him that he was listening to that obviously got him to be a little bit more annoyed than usual. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry you're going through that. It's tough, and you guys have been married a long time. What are you wanting to be different in your relationship?
Honestly, I guess what I would want for him that he hasn't done is to seek therapy, because I don't think he thinks that he has a problem, even though he's admitted to me that he has a problem. I think that he doesn't think he has one. When it first happened, he was like, I'll give you all my passwords, like, you monitor my phone, block this thing and blah, 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 and all of that. But I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, we can't live like this. Like, that's not healthy, obviously. And no matter what, like, I will never trust, because it's so easy right now, now with your phones and all of these, like, you have access to it all the time. You can't monitor somebody, and it's no way to live or to have a relationship anyway. But I guess that's the thing that I think that he does need therapy on that regard, and me too, because I can't believe that he's not watching it. He swears, he's like, I'll take, he doesn't close the door when he goes to shower and things like that, so that I'm not thinking that he's doing anything. And I don't check on him, but
Yeah, it's
I
not going
just
to
know.
change anything. That's just
Right,
going to elongate the time between uses.
right, right. I don't check on him, and I think he still watches it, probably not as much as he used to. But I do think that it is a problem that he needs to address, and why why he was doing this instead of coming to me or having a conversation about it. I don't know, and he kind of ruined it for us too, because I didn't really have a problem with it, I guess. And now I, even in TV, like, when I see things, like, it just, everything, like, triggers me. I don't say anything, but I'm always wondering, like, is he looking for something else that I can't offer him?
Well, all right. Can I read something to you that's relevant here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is again is from the betrayal bind. Focusing on the cheating partner rather than ourselves. There's about 2 pages. Another common way betrayed partners stay stuck in powerlessness is by focusing on trying to get the cheating partner to do, say, think, and believe the things that will move the relationship back towards safety. Copious amounts of mental, emotional, and physical energy can be spent on this draining task. One of my clients lives in a small town. He told me recently about being out to dinner when what he had been dreading finally happened. He and his girlfriend ran into one of her affair partners. Remember, this goes both ways, people. They had discussed the possibility endlessly. My client had made clear how he would want his girlfriend to handle it, and she had promised to deal with any such situation in accordance with his wishes. And yet, when it did happen, she failed the test miserably. My client was apoplectic. I don't know what that word means. Apoplectic. And does anybody know what that means? And wanted to know what he should do to get her to say and do the things that they had so successfully planned together. As I listened, what stood out to me was how trapped in powerlessness my client was. He focused on getting his partner to behave a certain way and had left himself unresourced and unprepared. I asked him to tell me what plan he had put in place for himself in the event that they were to run into an affair partner. He looked at me blankly, and after a meaningful pause, I just told you, we practiced it. We even role-played what we would say and do. I gave him a meaningful pause back and said, yes, I understand that part, but I'm wondering what your plan was for you. How would you determine to take care of yourself and protect yourself in this situation? Because it was not my client's first rodeo with me, he got it this time. Oh my word, I did nothing. I had no plan for me. I nodded and said to him, right? It's great to put together a plan for the two of you and ask for her to handle things a certain way. I'm glad you did that. However, that is all you did. You left yourself vulnerable to feeling profoundly powerless and unable to protect yourself in a critical and painful moment. My client shook his head as he told me, I was so focused on getting her to do what I needed her to do that I didn't even think about taking care of myself. And that interaction was so painful. I felt so hurt and angry, and I just was stuck there with her and him and had no way to rescue myself out of that mess. I'll stop there. It's kind of relevant, right, to what you and other people are talking about. It's like we focus so much on them and their behavior that we forget about what we're wanting and needing and what we're needing to do to protect ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I guess what I would want. I mean, how would I even protect myself from, I can't stop my thoughts. I guess, would that be in the form of therapy for myself?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're focusing so much on if only he'll get more therapy. If he'll get the therapy or the right kind of therapy, then this is going to be fine. But then the question is, what if he doesn't? Which is exactly the spot you're in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It's just kind of like the problem or the issue that we just don't talk about, and it just resurfaces every now and then.
Yeah. Well, you are talking about it. I would submit to you, you guys are having a conversation. It's a conversation without words. Right? Conversation produces action. The same conversation produces the same action. So you guys are having the same conversation over and over and over.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's probably no words. Sometimes there's probably faces that you make at each other or gestures. Sometimes there's probably some words. But if you have a new conversation, I 100% guarantee you will get a new result, a new action.
I think actually he might even have more of an issue with this whole thing than me because like I said, I'm younger, and I think during the height of him watching that, and luckily, I don't know if it makes a difference, but he's never done anything like the OnlyFans or anything like that, as far as I know. Anyway, I mean, I do the finances, so I would know. So I don't think he does that.
You'll never be too sure.
But now, right? Yeah, you never know somebody, but as far as I know, he hasn't. I think the issue now is that when he was doing that, I think because of my age, I was like at the height of my, how do you say it? Like I wanted to have more intimacy than he did. And I think that maybe that was part of the problem. I don't know. Performance issue. And now I think we're I'm getting older, and I'm kind of not as interested as I used to. I used to be the beggar, the asker, and now I'm not. I'm kind of I don't know if it's just my hormones, as I might be perimenopause. It's just a whole other thing. And I'm not as interested, and he is. But part of me not making the effort is because of how deeply hurt I was. I don't feel attractive. It's just a bunch of things, hormones, the porn issue, and so I think he's having a problem maybe with me now, not wanting that intimacy. But it's just kind of hard when you have all of this baggage, I guess.
Well, I'd venture to say that what you're probably not wanting is just sex, and same for him. You guys are wanting intimacy, true intimacy and connection with one another. Sex is one way to experience that with a partner. But when things are off, we can tend to think, oh, if only the bedroom was better, then everything would be fine. But that's only one part of what's going on here. There's trust, there's betrayal, there's you guys rebuilding that trust. There's actually having the open, honest, intimate conversations and revealing what's going on the inside for both of you. And that's not happening. Figuring out how to get the bedroom back on track is one relatively small part of this equation.
Yeah. I will go after this, but I do have a question for you. Why do you think, and I don't have any statistics to back this up, this is just from anecdotal, why is it that it's mostly men that have this issue?
It's not.
Oh, it's not? What does the statistics say? I said that's why I don't know. I didn't.
Well, when I say that, I mean, do more men watch what we're talking about commonly here as porn? Sure. But women have their issues too. I 100% guarantee you that.
Oh, I'm talking strictly on
Strictly with
the
porn? Yeah, I mean, why? I don't know. You could say because they're more visual. Yeah, I also don't get what I don't use that phrase a lot because I don't love that line. Men are more visual, but we'll go with that because men are more visual. But even then, I don't like that phrase.
Do you think that it could be because, and this is how I understood it from my reading, that the screen doesn't ask you for anything. You have to put the effort, and it's just there to basically serve the men, right? Without asking anything in return, and having intimacy with a real person takes work. It's not so easy.
Oh yeah,
And some,
totally. I mean, look to how do I put this? I'm trying to be funny here. I'm wanting to be funny. Porn never rejects you. You
right,
get what you want every time. I mean, like a guest a few times ago said, he doesn't even watch porn. He's curating AI experiences leading up to the act,
right,
right? It never rejects you, and it's easy. It's right there. You just open
right,
your phone and you get whatever you want. I mean,
right.
to
That's exactly, that was my argument with my husband when it happened. It was that I just cannot provide what this screen does. Like, I
but
would never, I would never measure up to that in my head, and I almost feel that it would have been easier if it was a physical affair, because you can, you don't have to deal with it or fear, for the most part, that it's always there. But this is in my home. This is everywhere. It's
yeah,
just,
and I
it's
want,
hard.
so on my last couple lives, I've had this guy who keeps coming on, and I frequently will say what you just said, that some women say they actually wish their partner would have had a physical affair, just like you just said. And so I want, a lot of my regulars are hear that. I'm not making this stuff up when I have these conversations with women. They say that a lot, and it's very revealing. But anyways, back to I think it's very difficult to figure out how to be in an intimate relationship with somebody two ways where there's mutuality there, where we're mutually serving one another. That's really hard to do. And most guys don't want to humble themselves to the point of doing that. So they just turn to porn. It's way easier. It's
Right,
way easier.
right.
So, yeah, but it's also super unfulfilling and a lonely place to be, right?
Right. Yeah, and he definitely feels shame. I do believe that he feels a lot of shame from, from me discovering, at least, that, I had him in this pedestal, because he's a really good man. And
Yeah. Well, and
so,
that's something I think oftentimes the betrayed partner, say men are addicted to porn, women are addicted to the idea of what love could look like if only their partner was perfect or didn't have this issue,
right. Yeah.
right? So,
All right. Well, thank you.
thanks for sharing.
All
Bye
right.
bye. Yeah, I'm also not suggesting that all women would rather a physical affair. I'm just saying it happens frequently where we hear that. By the way, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with betrayal trauma. If you're interested in scheduling a one-on-one call with me, you can do that in the link in my bio. If you want to join one of my groups, link is in my bio. You can schedule a call or join a group. We have groups on Tuesday nights as well as Wednesdays, both for men and women. It's a great place to come and heal through whatever it is you're going through. All right. I kind of got to pee. Why do you think they'd prefer a physical affair? Well, I think in that person's case, she said, well, I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I can tell you why I think, because there's a little bit more certainty with it. There's one person involved, not hundreds or thousands. Yeah, thank you, Donna. To clarify, my women's coaching groups are for women who have experienced or are experiencing partner betrayal trauma and looking for support through that. Oh, do I coach women with addiction? I'm sorry. I don't have a group specifically for that, though I'm getting asked that question more and more, and we'll possibly do something around that as well. I would recommend this book, Unwanted. Am I a Christian? I believe in Jesus. I believe and follow Jesus. And I don't ask anybody to believe what I believe. That's what I believe. Yeah, sorry, Don, I read your question wrong. There have been women in my groups who have struggled with it in the past. That's for sure. Because everybody has a story. And thank you, Champagne, for acknowledging my wife. Appreciate that. Yes, my wife is amazing.
Hi.
Hi, Bree. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What's up?
Good. I've been watching your live for a long time now, probably about a little over a
Hi,
year,
Brandy.
which is about when my situation happened, but I think porn is definitely cheating in my opinion. Before I got into my previous relationship, I didn't think it was, because that was my first relationship. I'm only 18. And at that time, I didn't really think much of it, but about like a year and a half into the relationship, I ended up finding a bunch of just like, I won't go into detail about what I found, but just a lot of really crazy things on his phone. And I
Hey,
ended up,
Bree. I'm really sorry. I have to go to the bathroom. Could you hold on a minute?
yeah, no, you're
Okay.
good.
I'll be right back.
Hi, Emily. I'm just waiting in the awkward silence.
All right, Bree. Sorry about that. I was going to go
You're
before I
fine.
brought you on, and I thought I could do it. And then 30 seconds later, I thought I was going to pee my pants. So,
No, yeah, you're fine. I get it. No worries.
all right. So you found some stuff.
Yeah, and my biggest reason for wanting to come on was to ask what I was told. So I ended up going to a coworker about it, who's a man, and I ended up asking him for like advice, like what I should do if that's something he engaged in, what his opinion was. And he pretty much ended up telling me that all men watch porn and that it's not really something I could get away from. It's something I kind of just had to settle for. And I'm definitely young, so I know a lot of the boys I am around do lean that way, and that is a lot of what I hear. But that's really like my biggest like I guess worry, cuz like I've I've found ways to like move on from that relationship and that experience and what I went through, but there's still like from what I've been told, there's like that worry weighing in my head that no matter who I find, that's still going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you got, in my opinion, terrible advice from that person. That sounds like somebody who watches porn and doesn't have any hope for himself to get out of that.
Right.
All right. So, no, it's also very common. People say that very frequently, but it's just not true. It's not true. If you watch my lives long enough, we have guys come on here all the time who don't watch porn.
Right.
So you got to know what's true and what's not true. The question is, you said you're young, and yes, it should be a conversation, I think, amongst people who are dating at any age, but particularly young people. And the question is, what are you wanting in your relationship? And if you're wanting somebody who doesn't watch porn, or you're not wanting porn to be part of your relationship, you got to take a stand for that. And
Right.
so you may have some fear about taking that stand because it's unpopular. But, if you want to do what's popular, go do what the rest of the country is doing, and you'll be right where everybody else is. But the question is, what are you wanting, and what are you willing to do to take a stand for that?
Right. And I know for sure, like, my grandpa, for example, because when I went through this, my grandparents are who I live with, so I talked to my grandma about it, and she had told me about how, like, my grandpa previously, like, that was something that he was addicted to, was pornography, and he ended up overcoming it in a way where, like, he just withholds, I guess, the urge to do it, or like he's withhold the urge for so long he doesn't really have it as much anymore. And I guess that's kind of a thing for me too, is like, even if they don't watch it, is that something that they want to do, or is that appealing, you know? Because I don't know, I think that might just be more from me and who I've talked to, but my family all kind of pushes that narrative, like, no matter what man you're with, they all have wandering eyes, they all, you know. And I think that could definitely be more my own
Well,
experience and thought.
you can't help the first look, but you can help the second look. So, you know, if you're with a person and they're committed to being committed to only you, and they're out in public and they see somebody, you can't help seeing somebody, but you can help what you do with that thought or what you do with that sight. And I
Right.
think if you're committed to a person and you want to honor them, you wouldn't look again. You wouldn't start undressing them with your eyes. That can certainly
Right.
happen. How do I know? Because that's what I do. That's what many men who I work with do. They're committed to honoring their partner. And one way of honoring their partner is not having wandering eyes.
Right. That's like, it's good to hear. Like, that's definitely why I wanted to come on here too, because like, just to kind of reinforce that idea, because it, like, in my heart, I feel like I know not all men even want to do that. You know, that's not a thing for everybody. But that's been such a thing that's been pushed at me that I feel like it's kind of just, I don't know, it's kind of just what I jumped to, I guess. But I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hey, can I ask you how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 18.
Okay. Yeah, so you're assuming that what you're wanting is somebody who doesn't watch porn. It might seem impossible at your age. I got it. Right.
Right.
But my encouragement to you would be to not sacrifice your standards and your boundaries. That's like the best gift you can give to yourself as an 18-year-old.
Right.
And for the sake of love, if you love somebody, I'm not saying that anybody who watches porn, you just need to strike them right away. But like, if you guys really want to build something together, you got to have conversations about your values and what mutual values you want to carry into a relationship. And if the partner claims that one of their values is also to not have porn and only have eyes for you, my encouragement would be, especially at your age, is to do something intentionally that's going to keep both of you guys on that path. Because the world is against both of you. The world is against relationships, marriage, monogamy, family. I should say our country, at least. Not in all cases, but generally speaking, it's an uphill battle to keep the family intact. So what can you do to make that a priority in your relationship, even as 18-year-olds? I'm not asking you to answer that right now, but have that lens as you approach dating. You know, one of the best pieces of advice I got before I got married, and you can take it all with a grain of salt because I also was cheating on my wife after about a year, was when I start dating a woman, when I started dating my wife, it was I'm dating you with the intention of marrying you. That's why I'm here, because I want to marry you. That's the only reason why I'm going out with you. That's what I'm wanting here, is I want to see if this is something that's going to go towards marriage. And then we got married and it went downhill from there pretty quickly, but we're still together. So again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm still married to the same woman. We've been married 13 years. I did have the intention to marry her and be committed to her forever, which I still am. All right. There were some rocky spots in there, hence how I got this job. All right. Anyway, so Bree, what are you thinking? What's coming up for you?
First, I just want to thank you for having me on and giving me your advice, because it definitely has given me a different outlook. Because I know personally, it's hard for me to have these conversations with the people I have in my life. You know, they tend to go a different way. But and thank you to everybody in the comments too that was saying nice things. I appreciate it. Um, but no, yeah, it's definitely like, I don't know. I want to state too, I'm not with that person anymore. I don't know if I said that or not, but
Okay.
um,
Yeah, I think you did.
I did. Yeah, I did. I don't know. I feel like too, like to people that have dealt with that, like just to put it out there, you do learn a lot from it. Like that relationship, like definitely messed with me, and I had to heal a lot, but I feel like I grew a ton too. And like
For sure.
I feel like too, when you go through these things, it makes you more like empathetic for other people. And so I feel
Yeah.
like, and I feel like that's one thing you're doing too, which is so awesome. Like from what you've experienced, you're teaching other people, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. But I don't know. Yeah, I really just wanted to get some like reassurance that not like everybody's like that. Not every relationship is going to, you know, end up like that. I don't know. I don't mean to tremble either. I'm just thinking of like everything that I've went through, and it's kind of just a lot. But
Yeah. Well, no, you're fine. And, you know, your intuition, I think, is telling you something. And again, the world is going to try to teach you some messages that are just not true. They're not reality. They're not good for an individual. They're not good for society. And they're going to be marketed and pushed down your throat for the next 60, 80 years of your life. And it's up to you to find the voice in you that says, I will not stand for these things that I don't believe in. And it is more than okay to do that. It is beautiful. It is needed. It is required for you to be the person who you are designed to be and who can do what only you can do on this planet. If you shut those voices off, you're not giving the world the full brie. And the world needs the full brie. So never let that voice go away.
I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
And like, thank you to everybody too in the comments again. Like, I really appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to talk to me about this and give me a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, Bree.
Yeah, thank you for having me. You guys have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Somebody said something about, does my wife ever check does your wife get an odd feeling to check out your stuff after cheating? It's been 7 years, not anymore. She probably did for a while, but I mean, I never got caught. I'll bring you on, officer standby. Give me 1 second. I never got caught with porn, with affairs, or anything. I confessed to her one day in August of 2017, about 7 years ago. And at that point, it was like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And so, I mean, did she ever look at my phone? I don't know. I don't care. If she looks at my phone now, I don't care. I have nothing to hide. This is actually really funny. The first time there was even some, like a scare, we'll call it, not that I look at anything or have anything to hide. It was right when I started doing my TikTok stuff about a year ago. Hi, California Mary. About a year and a half ago, I was still trying to figure out how to use TikTok. I still can barely figure out TikTok. And I was in the living room. She was in our bedroom on the treadmill. And I opened it up. I opened the app up, and there was a woman talking on my For You page. I couldn't tell what she was saying. It was not pornographic, but I was trying to figure out what to do on TikTok, like how to swipe through. And my phone was paired to her AirPods, and apparently it was like a thirst trap. It didn't look like one, but it sounded like one, but I couldn't hear the sound. And my wife yells at me. She goes, Austin, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't figure this thing out. I can't hear what this person is saying. She comes in and I'm like, I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out TikTok. And then she was like, okay, that's hilarious, and went back on her run. It was really funny though. So anyways, does she look at my stuff? I don't know. Angela, my wife, has been on a few of my women's calls. I don't get it. My wife, doesn't live to talk about porn on the internet like I do. But my wife's been on like 2 or 3 women's calls over the last year or so. But she doesn't do any of my lives or content on TikTok or anything. But yeah, she'll probably be on at some point. You'll meet her if you're in one of my private coaching groups. All right, officer, stand by.
Hey, am I echoing or am I good?
I think you're good. What's going on?
Okay, so your perspective is that watching it is cheating or isn't cheating?
My perspective is that if you're in a committed monogamous relationship with another person and you've said something like, I love you and only you, mind, body, and soul till death do us part, if you deviate from that, whether it's using a person on a screen or otherwise, I think that that goes against the agreement in the relationship and is therefore cheating.
Okay. So I work long shifts, 12 to 16-hour shifts, and it varies from, days to nights. And energy is a big thing. So what's your philosophy? And I'm being dead serious on this. Because I've dated different girls. Some girls consider it cheating, others don't. One, I was in a serious relationship for a year and a half, and she did consider it a serious violation of trust and everything like that. But what about making your own content with that person that you tend to watch rather than watching other women? Because that was her big thing, is that other women are, that's not her, and she viewed that as cheating. And my compromise was, okay, what if we make our own content and made those videos? What is your philosophy on that?
Well, my question would be, why not just be intimate with her?
Well, there's times that she's on that time of the month. There's
Can't you
sometimes
wait? Self-control?
me. Can I wait self-control? I mean,
Can you have
sometimes it's
self-control?
hard. I mean, I do have self-control, but sometimes it's hard. I mean, when you
Yeah,
have a
most of the time, in my opinion, the harder path is the better path.
the harder to this waiting. I mean, I have done that before, but I find it relatively hard just to literally just wait like that. I mean, it usually does release. Sometimes I do it before I work out, but I mean,
What's more rewarding, masturbating by yourself or being with your partner?
oh, it's no comparison. No
Then why not
comparison.
wait for that? Why not hold out for that?
It's hard. It's realistically, it's not
Yeah,
easy.
it
I
is
mean,
hard. Yeah, most things worth waiting for are hard, and they're better when we wait for them.
I get that, but I mean, when you're like 7 days, I mean, a lot of guys are not going to be honest with you too. A lot of guys will say, "Oh, well, I don't do it often." A lot of guys do it very
Yeah,
often.
yeah.
Now, do you consider that
Here's
watching?
the end. Here's Do I consider it what?
You consider it if you're not watching something, or is it just in general, just doing the practice in itself?
Of masturbating?
Yes.
Well, they're separate topics. There's watching porn and masturbating, which generally people conflate as always connected, but they're not. And then there's just masturbating. And I'm not going to say whether just masturbating is permissible or not for you. We can have that conversation. But then a question would be, why not just masturbate without porn?
Well, and that's double edged. I mean, I do that sometimes if it's just not convenient to sit there, because I mean, again, it's recorded. I don't use actual phone to record. I've used an actual like video camcorder or a GoPro, and on the computer. So if I don't want to take the time to open the computer, I just won't use that in general. I'll just do it by myself
Yeah.
without
Well,
watching the content.
McDonald's is more convenient than making myself a burger, but McDonald's is going
True.
to kill me faster,
True.
right?
No,
So
yeah, absolutely.
here's the thing though. Back to your original question is if it's content of each other, it's still
Yes.
porn. Whether you guys want to define it as cheating or not, that's up to you guys. But the way that porn works is you're actually making a bond with the screen or the medium in which you're looking at when you're watching the porn. Porn is as
Correct.
defined by imagery, usually depicting an organ or multiple organs of a person with the erotic intent to arouse. Doesn't specify who the actor or actress is in the porn. So you got to take away the fact that it's you and her. You're still watching porn. You're still getting all the negative side effects of watching porn, like the impact it has on the dopamine circuitry of the brain. You're creating an addiction, whether it's you on the screen or somebody else.
True.
So you guys get to decide whether you want to use that, and whether it's cheating or not. But you got to look at, is it healthy or not, and is it the best outcome? Is it the most desirable outcome? You even
No,
said,
that's
yeah. So then the question would be, why not wait for that?
that's obviously then a self-control issue. Anything else? Why not just wait? I mean, because I mean, if you have a girlfriend, and that the option is there. So yes, no, I
Yeah.
agree with you on that one. I just wanted your theory on the difference if it's actual this not the girl in itself, but content. But obviously, it's content is content regardless of what it is through a screen, not in the physical act. Am
Yeah.
I correct?
Yeah. Well, and that's and the data suggests that it when you're watching the medium on a screen, it gets you further away from having real intimacy with a partner because you're reinforcing fake sex.
Correct.
And when you're continuing to practice that, it's hard to actually have the real thing, true intimacy with another person.
No, you're right. And I do know, I have a buddy that he is very addicted to it, and he's noticed there's performance problems since he started watching it when he didn't used to watch it. Sometimes you notice there's issues getting it up if you continue to watch certain types of stuff online that's certain fantasies. It tends to have negative impact physically
Yeah.
because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, the brain science suggests that there's negative impacts to watching pornography.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I just wanted to see your perspective on own content versus other content, but the screen is basically the deal breaker in a sense. What you're saying, correct?
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's you or somebody else. It's it's what you're doing. It's masturbating to other people having sex on the screen. You're getting a dopamine hit. You're creating a supernatural dopamine high that crashes below baseline afterwards. So you're just reinforcing it. It's like, what's the end of that path?
Yeah.
You know?
No, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, man. See ya. Would knowingly playing along with a catfish be considered cheating? I don't understand the question. Dude, what doesn't create a dopamine high? That's a good question, Farmer AZ. I don't know. Lots of things, though, I would imagine. Hi, AJ. How's it going?
How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. What's up?
Nothing much, man. I wanted to come out. I had a couple questions for you. So I consider a recovering porn addict. I kind of had that breakthrough through, and I'm not through like any kind of recovery groups, but through God and seeking Him and things like that, spiritually. But what do you call it? I wanted to ask because, and the reason why, and one of the reasons why I wanted to turn away from pornography was because I knew that with that addiction and it being in the dark, I could never have like a relationship or even a marriage that is on a firm foundation. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to ask, as someone who is a recovering porn addict, how could I go about then now seeking a relationship with another woman and making sure that what do you call it, like having transparency but also remaining steadfast and what do you call it, away from those kind of things?
Yeah. Well, good job and great question. One, have an unwavering commitment to tell the truth all the time, no matter what. Whatever happens as a consequence of telling the truth is the best thing that can happen. Right? If you approach your relationship like that, no, you're not going to be perfect, obviously. But if you just approach your relationship like that, you're going to have a much better chance of success being clean with this than not. You said you're a person of faith. I would also ask you, like, who do you have to support you in this? Do you have a community? Are you in a place where you can bear one another's burdens with regard to this issue?
Well, that's another thing. I am in a community. I had my youth pastor at the time was my mentor, and he was also he also was a porn addict, and so he was in a way my mentor and my accountability partner with this journey. Now the hard part is that now I'm actually going away for college this week, and I won't be around my church and around my accountability partner like I am weekly now. And now I'm going into completely, a different field, different atmosphere. And I know for a fact that there's going to be so many challenges when it comes to that. Because not only do I want to abstain from pornography, but I want to abstain from lust, because I feel like even just looking at a woman with lust is just as bad. And so, yeah, I mean, I can always text them, but like in person, I'm not really going to have anybody.
Do you plan on building community when you go to college?
I do. Praise God that my roommate is actually a Christian as well. I don't know how he is in his faith, but I do know that the belief is there. and I do plan on like attending what do you call it, like ministries throughout campus that are available.
Yeah.
But
Well, are you going to be your bio says you're 18, so are you going to be a freshman in college?
yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
19 next month.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, there's tons of opportunity to create community when you're in college, and the relationships you form in the next 4 years will have probably the most profound impact on your life than what you learn in college. That's for sure. And the job you get after college, the relationships you form in the next 4 years will have the biggest impact on where you're at 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 40 years from now. Choose those wisely, right? And also, again, just telling the truth. You're talking about being in a relationship, though. You also don't need to rush into a relationship. If it
Right.
happens, great. But, try to focus on being the person who you want to be and live into that. That's what this season's going to be about.
Yeah.
What are you going to be studying?
Education.
Okay. You want to be a teacher or administrator?
Yeah. Teacher.
Teacher. Okay. So if that's what you want to do, focus on that. And again, just who's the person you want to be 4 years from now, right? What does that look like? What are the components you need to have in place with regard to community, your job, your studies to set you up for the life that you're wanting? I'm telling you, man, women don't want, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, women don't want a guy that doesn't watch porn. They want a guy who does a whole bunch of other things, who is going somewhere in life, who has strong relationships. Yes, they want a guy who doesn't watch porn, but they want somebody who's going to be faithful to them, who can provide and protect them, who treats a woman right. Not watching porn is pretty lame, actually, if that's all that you're about. I'm not saying you said that, AJ, right?
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's actually not that hard to not watch porn. But it's really hard to declare a vision for your life with clarity and start living into that with purpose.
Yeah. You know what's if I kind of want to share this, but when I was I live in Oregon, and I had moved from Southern California, and it was a big culture shock, a big change for me. And part of like having that isolation away from like friends and stuff like that was part of the reason like why I started clinging to pornography more and things like that. And so being also like in a way that also made me choose to turn away from it. But I was noticing that in school, and I don't know if it's like this in every state, but here in Oregon, I had taken a health class in California, and I had taken a health class here. And in Oregon, they had a specific sex education like unit, and pornography was brought up in a lesson, and masturbation, and the teacher was explaining. I'm not putting this on the teacher because the teacher said that he's literally just teaching the curriculum that he's supposed to teach, but the lesson that the district had provided was advocating and condoning the usage of pornography and masturbation to people who are it's a sophomore class, so kids who are only now 2 years into high school. How do you feel about that? And because like me going as a teacher in this state, knowing that that's on like the curriculum, and like me having that background with pornography, right? It's like, what is your opinion on that?
Hold on a second. God, makes me want to get into politics. That's what my opinion is. What's the district? What's the district and school and teacher name?
It's the Hillsborough school district here in Oregon.
Oh, Hillsborough. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
My
here?
wife's no, my wife is from Milwaukee though.
Oh, okay.
I live in Phoenix. What's my opinion on that?
Yeah.
Oh, it, am I non-verbally communicating it well enough?
Yeah, you really are.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you
Because
don't need to go in depth.
I wanna say so many things. My opinion. I can't even sum it up in words right now. Without risk of being banned. I think it's sad. I think it's pathetic. I think it's detrimental to society
Yeah,
that it's not only being taught but promoted as this is the way to have healthy sexuality is to watch people to watch porn. It's just such a bad message. Okay. Yeah, we'll say
yeah,
that.
yeah. And you know what? It's funny because I don't understand why we did this, but we basically had to go to different sides of the room on where we lean on this kind of stuff, and the things on
Oh,
and
so
the
they
things.
so they made a shame exercise about it. Oh my gosh.
Dang, you know what? Not even realizing it now, but and the
You've
thing
got to
is
be
that
kidding me. They made the pro porn people stand on one side and the ones who didn't agree with it stand on the other side.
I don't remember if there was one regarding specifically pornography, but it was in that area. It was in that area. It was in what do you call it? Like there was so much that went on through that class, but me myself, not only being a Christian, but a man who struggled with pornography and who knew that it was a bad thing, and and I wasn't even trying to be like a hypocrite, but I knew in myself that no, it is wrong. And so I was literally one of the few, actually, that stood on the opposite side of the room for the things that you think the progressives would lean on, right? And so and there it was really a lot of promoting of it being, you're able to relieve stress through it and things like that, but like they were not talking about what do you call it, the negative effects that it has on your brain. And in a way, it's like it also, in a way, I feel like in a way it corrupts your brain, and it makes you go about thinking of women and relationships in a totally different way. And so, like, it was a complete shocker to me. And like I said, I don't put no blame on the teacher, because he said himself that he's just teaching the curriculum. But here in Oregon, it is a very progressive state.
That's a
And
cop out. That's a cop out. That's a cop out. If I was that teacher, I would rather get arrested than do what they're telling me. I mean, I get it. I get that he was saying that, but that's a cop out.
I feel it, bro. I feel it. And that's the thing. Like me as a man of faith, and then going into college and like wanting to become a teacher. I want to be one of those teachers that actually make a difference and in a
You
way,
can be.
go against the grain.
You can be. You're probably not going to end up doing that as a teacher. You can certainly make an impact as a teacher, and you'll gain experience there. But as an administrator or legislator, that's probably where you can have more of an impact. And having teaching experience will help with that, knowing what is in the classroom. But if that's being pushed down from a district level, I mean, that is insane, and I'm not surprised, especially in Oregon. I mean, again, my wife is from Portland. I get it. I go spend weeks a year there. Culturally, what has happened in Oregon, I've been going there multiple times a year for the last 15 years or so. I see every time I go there, and I'm in and out, a week at a time or so. I can see with my own eyes I'll just say the decline of that whole area. And I'm
You know
not
what?
ashamed of saying that.
When I moved here, one of the biggest culture shocks when it came to that is just how like, I mean, I didn't move to Portland exactly. Like I said, I was in the Hillsborough district, but it really wasn't that different from LA. If anything, I thought it was worse within school and all that, because in school, I never really saw political agendas and things like that being pushed. Some teachers may go on a rant, things like that about whatever's going on in the election that year or whatever, right? But the agendas that I saw being pushed here in Oregon was actually insane. And I was thinking about like, no wonder like a lot of these kids think the way they do is because they're being taught that way in school. And the pornography part is probably what disgusts me the most. And that was me as a porn addict during that time. And so, yeah, it's a very difficult field that I'm trying to pursue, but I'm willing. I'm willing.
Totally. Dude, you know, this is crazy. I just Googled Hillsborough School District views on pornography. Here's an article from 2013 in May. Oregon parents outraged over sexually explicit language used during 10th grade health lesson on porn, which is literally what you just described when you were a sophomore.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? No, because as a freshman in California, I took health and I had to take it another semester because it was a full year class here in Oregon. So I was a junior with a bunch of sophomores. And honestly, it was just, what do you call it? I mean, and the fact that was like, they're still doing that from 2013. It was like, you said that was from 2013?
No,
Like,
2023. This was a year ago in May.
Oh, so then, dude, that was literally around the time that I was in that class. That was
This is
literally around
crazy.
that time.
They're showing they're showing screenshots of what looks like a PowerPoint or something like that. It says range of normalcy, reasons people do watch porn and reasons people don't watch it.
You want to know something too? They so they were also, oh my gosh, this is just insane. Also at the end of that class, they taught about contraceptives, and they literally had I wouldn't say it, I mean, you can say it was, you know, I don't know what I can say on here without, you know, getting you banned or anything like that, but like a sex toy, if you know what I mean. And they used that to demonstrate putting on a condom, and they even actually took all of our phones so that no one would record, or quote unquote, the teacher said so because I don't want no one making memes of it, right? You know, but he had a whole tub full of condoms and like all these other things that he's supposed to show the class how to use. Sophomores, people that are 16, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was also another shocker. It made me really sick to my stomach. And
Yeah.
even someone who wants to have a family one day, even though being a teacher, I don't know how comfortable I would be living in Oregon and sending my kid to a public school that has those kind of, you know, those lessons.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you going to college?
I'm going to OSU.
Louisiana? Or
Oregon
did you say
State.
OSU? Oh, I thought you said LSU.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oregon State. All right. Will you only be able to teach in Oregon?
No, I wouldn't. But having my my immediate family here, but also my church family that I'm really strong within my community. I'm motivated to still come and teach here, also because I have no desire to move back to California or any other state for that matter, at least currently. And you know, who knows what's going to happen, you know, 4 years down the road.
Sorry, you're in Corvallis?
I will be in Corvallis in about 3 days.
Are you familiar with Bridgetown Church?
No, I'm not.
Look them up. It's in Portland.
Look it up right now.
Church. Yeah. Check that place out, man. I know it's not in Corvallis, but check out Bridgetown Church.
Have you been there?
I have, yeah. When we go there, we go there. John Mark Comer, he's written a lot of books. It's like nationally known.
Really, I did not know this.
Yeah, check that place out, man. Tell him I sent
really
you.
nice.
Say porn coach sent me. Just kidding. They have no idea who I am.
I was like, wow, okay. Yeah. I know it's, I mean, and spiritually, you know, dealing with lust and pornography is a whole nother thing, right? But at least maybe in the physical, right? Because in a way, it's like I try not to lean on my own strength to bypass temptation. But when it comes to, because I know for a fact when I go to college, there's going to be a lot of distractions, and I may not even be pressed. I may find myself not pressing into God as much, right? At least for you, or any tips like in the physical when it comes to having those kind of temptations around you and things like that. How do you deal with that? Especially when it's like, because you can cut off social media, you can cut off all that. But when you're in school or where you're even out in public and you have women that are dressing pretty unmodestly, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, again, you can't help the first look. You can't help the second look. I'd say the best advice I would give you, and I rarely give advice, but I'm going to give you advice because you asked for it. In high school, I wouldn't have been the guy. I would have gone with the crowd when they did the whole pornography shame exercise. I would have gone with the side that was like, oh, yeah, porn's fine. Do not be ashamed. I mean, there's a Bible verse there. Don't be ashamed by the gospel, for it's the power of Jesus Christ for those who believe him. Paraphrasing. Yeah. But don't be ashamed with what you stand for. Like your voice, you're going to have a very unpopular voice on that campus. Within reason, right? But don't fall to what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Like when I was in college, I did not stand for anything. I went along with the crowd. I partied. I was drinking. I didn't get into not that I'm making it like a comparing, but I didn't get into that bad of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I certainly just went along with the crowd against my own intuition, and it was like a reckoning in my whole 20s. It just was like one bad decision after bad decision, being with the wrong people, the wrong girlfriend, the wrong job, because I was just going along with what I thought I was supposed to do because of what culture was telling me and what educators were telling me. Until I finally learned, you know what, Austin, take a stand for yourself and for what you believe is true.
Wow.
And that's a much more freeing way to live. And also, if and when you the best way to know about what you truly believe is to start speaking about what you believe.
Right.
That really forms your opinions. Do you watch Jordan Peterson at all?
No.
So I would recommend watching, go watch 50 hours of Jordan Peterson content. And I'm not saying you need to agree with everything, but he's basically a philosopher, psychologist. But watch people like Jordan Peterson. I mean, go to school, learn the things you need to get your degree, but don't get brainwashed by what they're going to try to teach you there. Not only in the classroom as well as everything else going on at school.
Right.
And Jordan Peterson literally rose to prominence because as an educator, he took an unpopular stance when they were trying to force him to say something. Just like your teacher claimed he didn't want to do it. And I actually disagree with that. Your teacher did want to do it. If he didn't want to, he wouldn't have.
That's a good point. When it, what do you call it? At least, and this was actually, I had a conference this weekend at my church, and one of the speakers, or the speaker was, and it seemed like he only did it for this specific service, but he felt led to talk about how pornography is ruining the church, and he was talking about some statistics and things like that. So you're a man of faith as well. So it's, when it comes to dealing with those kind of things, especially like me, myself, I run into a lot of people who also still have had the same addictions, but in a way it's hard for me to try to disciple them because it's like, I'm not perfect. I haven't even been a full year, clean from pornography. And so it's like, when it comes to other people in the church and things like that, how, at least from my stance or where my position is at, how in a way can I help other people? Because you're a coach. In a way, how can I can say disciple. How can I disciple other people that are going through the same thing, but yet I'm not even that, what do you call it? I wouldn't say wise, but further
Well, first of
into
all,
it.
if you're almost a year clean of pornography, I'm going to make a claim here. It's probably not, or there's no way it's accurate, but if you're almost a year clean from porn, you're probably doing better than 95% of the other guys in your church.
Mm,
Okay, I don't have any
mm.
data to back that claim, but I'm pretty sure I'm within 10 or 20 points of being accurate on that.
I'm not a year. I'm not even a, what do you call it? What do you call it? I'm not even six months fully clean.
Got it. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said you're almost a year.
Yeah.
Either way, man, if you're 6 months to a year not using porn, you're probably doing better than most in that area. Okay. Also, just because you're not perfect, which you're not, and nobody is, doesn't mean you can't be used to help other people. In fact, it's your story, it's your testimony, in whether it's in a faith context or otherwise, that actually brings people into a new awareness of something. You just have to have the courage to speak about it.
Right. Right.
So I mean, look, AJ, you're doing like so many of the right things here. I honestly don't have that much advice for you, aside from just keep doing what you're doing. Keep on asking the questions you're asking, and stand in courage, and don't be ashamed by what other people think. Don't let that affect you. You got a good head on your shoulders, man. Keep
Thank
on
you,
doing
man.
that. Find good community. Stay in good community, and you're gonna change lives, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate your time to take to answer my questions, man, and giving me
Yeah.
advice. I
Yeah.
greatly appreciate.
Shoot me a DM, man. I'd love to chat with you a little bit more. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll shoot you a DM. I'll hit you with a follow right now.
All right. Cool, man. Nice chatting.
God bless you, man.
All right. See you. Oh man, I can't believe that. I actually I can believe it. This is what they're doing in the school districts. Like, I guess I just hear about this stuff, in the news all the time. I've never actually talked to a victim of what these school districts are teaching. Grooming, for sure, grooming. Just popping in to say, keep up the good work, coach. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Hey there, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. What's up?
Hi. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think that it's cheating. My only question is I'm 31. I've been married since I was 20. Me and my wife been together since I was 16. And back in the day when I was 16, my family didn't have the ability to have a computer. They weren't as easy to get, as they are now. And so we had the magazines. Like my magazines were stuck together. I was before school, when I got home from school, before work. And then when me and my wife were packing all my stuff up and we were going to move, in our house together, she was like, we don't need this stuff anymore. Like you have me, like if you don't need pornography. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't. So, I went from 500-600 times a year to none. And, I don't know, like I guess my question is I have my best friends who are, they're catching up to me. They're 30, but they're finally getting married and settling down. And they asked me, they're like, I've had two ask me so far, and they're like, hey, how do you not do that when your wife has to ask you to? Like, how do you let her have your phone password and stuff? And I'm thinking to myself, how is that an issue? Like, one of my friends said it's an addiction. I don't understand. Like, he got mad at me because I told him I thought it was a cop out, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but my question is how can something physical, like just looking at a woman on a screen, be so, I guess, addictive? How can someone call it that? Because I don't know what to, because he wants to ask me for advice again, but every time I don't sympathize with him enough, I guess. And I've been listening to you for like 2 hours, and it's definitely opened my eyes, but I don't know what I should say.
Well, so what is his question? What's the question that he's asking of you?
Like, he doesn't think that he can, like, because his woman, I guess they had to talk, and he's worried about getting rid of that. Like he doesn't think he'll be able to, and I'm thinking to him, how is that an issue? Like, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but he's my friend, so I'm going to be honest with him. I'm not going to lie to him. I mean, I wouldn't give that advice to a random stranger, but he's my best friend, and I'm telling him why. Like, you're
So
marrying somebody, that shouldn't be an
well,
issue.
yeah. So as his friend, are you trying to convince him to not watch pornography? Is that what I'm hearing? Or is
Well,
he
if
coming
his
to
wife,
you and
yeah,
saying,
like,
"Hey, how do I stop watching pornography?"
well, yeah, because I guess they had a conversation, and she's like, hey, we should be one with each other, and he's not religious, and I am, but I don't push my religion on anybody, so I haven't put God into it. But I just told him, like, I don't see how you're having issues quitting, and he's like, well, it's hard to quit. I'm like, well, it wasn't for me, and he mentioned how it was an addiction, and I said, I think that you're just copping out. I don't believe it's an
Yeah.
addiction.
Does he want to quit though?
Well, it sounds like he does, but I guess I don't know. I guess I didn't get that far. Obviously he's concerned about not being able to quit. I guess I would say the answer is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got to get clear on that. Does he want something to change in his life or not? If he doesn't, then you're not going to convince him.
Well, do you consider
you can try,
that? And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but do you consider that a lot of men, like, can you be truly, like, I understand? I guess, I mean, by listening to you, I'm and what and your advice to people, I'm assuming that porn can be an addiction. But do you think some men use that as a cop out to
Yes.
like, okay,
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I see it all the time. Oh, it's just an addiction. I'm not down on the whole addiction framework and languaging, but I think it's limited. It can be limited, and it also puts people in a box that they can't get out of. Oh, I'm just an addict. I will always be an addict. It's just always going to be this way. That not always, but sometimes that's the tone that people give off when they use the addiction language. Oh, I'm just an addict. Okay. Well, do you want to not be an addict? Let's shift this from despair to hope. Do you want to change something here? Do you want to not watch porn? Most people who are addicted, quote unquote, like, they haven't even given it the possibility that something could be different.
Gotcha. So I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I would just ask him, like, do you want anything to be different here? Do you want me to help convince you that this is going to be problematic for you, if that's what you believe? Now, if you love him, which it sounds like you do, you have a loving relationship with this person as a friend. You can, I think there is a line there. Obviously, you got to know the relationship, but it's like, hey, can I just tell you? Can I, and even asking permission, do you want to hear my opinions about this? Right? And then if he does, say, here's some of the data. Get equipped with some of the data on what pornography does to relationships, to marriages, the effect it has on women. The betrayed partner.
I couldn't imagine having that in my marriage. My wife would constantly question, well, why are you looking at people that she might think that are better than her? It causes issues. I guess my point is, am I being insensitive by telling him that, like, was I in the wrong by just saying I think that's part of my friends, but that's bullshit to sit here and say that you might be addicted to something like that. Was that insensitive? Because, like, I guess it's a case by case thing, but was I out of bounds for, like, immediately saying I think that's a cop out?
I don't know. I can't answer that question, right? I mean, it could have been totally appropriate. It could have been totally inappropriate given the context of your relationship and how you got there. Right? There's a principle there's a principle I like to live by. Connect before you correct. People don't want advice from other people. Like, do you want somebody to come up to you and point out something that you're doing wrong in life, unsolicited? No, people hate that. Right? But if you're connected to somebody, like if you have rapport, if there's respect and trust built in, and permission oftentimes, then people are more open to hearing it. And you can still come across as being insensitive.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting to ask because you definitely seem like you're a lot more experienced on giving people advice than I am. So
Well,
I
but here's the thing.
obviously,
Notice I actually don't give people advice very often. I ask people questions.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. And when I, even the last person, I actually said, can I give you some advice? I asked for permission to give straightforward advice. Right. So that's where you can ask him, hey man, are you open to my opinion? Could I speak into your life a little bit with regard to pornography as you're looking at getting married? And if he says no, all right, no problem. If he says yes,
well,
great, green light.
Well, I appreciate it. You seem incredibly knowledgeable, and I just wanted to. I guess I needed. I've never I guess I needed someone to pinpoint on what I think I should do to help, because I mean I could say go get help or go talk to someone, but maybe he's asking me because we're personally close, and it's easier to ask people who are personally close to you than people who aren't close to you. But I also didn't want to feel like I was giving information that was hurting him, not making it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and who knows, right? I mean, some people need to hear that, where they're like, oh, I'm just addicted. And if you're just like, no, screw that, man. You can beat this. Maybe that's what he needed in that moment. And that's the other thing is, if you're really in relationship with him, you can go back and say, hey, man, I call it a clearing conversation. I feel like there might be something that needs to be cleared here. Like, did I come across too strong the other day in our conversation? Or did you really receive that? Is there anything between us? Could we just clear the air here? Right? That could be a very helpful conversation for you guys to just kind of reset, and you can see where you're at. Did that land with him wrong?
Gotcha.
So,
well, I really appreciate it, man, and thank you for your time, and thank you for being respectful and listening. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing. See ya.
Have
a good night, man. Thank you for teaching me about mature and authentic trust. It helped me my reload and perspective on trust. Good. I'm glad. That must have been a while ago. I don't think I've talked about that for a while. Thanks for sharing, Mia. Please let me into the live. I want to give perspective to people. Well, get in line. My ex used to tell me I was jealous, immature, and a weirdo for not being okay with it. Well, he's an ex for a reason, because you finally realized that wasn't the case. Rob Berry, I appreciate you having me on, Austin, providing space and wonderful insight. You're welcome. And there's more where that came from. If you guys are interested in coaching, join one of my coaching groups. I have groups for women who are going through betrayal trauma, as well as men who are dealing with unwanted sexual behavior. And soon I'm going to have just more general, not based on just porn and sex, and it will be mixed gendered. Just basically call it life coaching, but I'll come up with a better word for it. If you're interested in that, go to the link in my bio. You can join my group. The groups are $99 a month. We meet for an hour and 15 minutes weekly on Zoom, and it's a great way to be in community and heal through this, where you're not alone. And if you want more information, you can schedule a discovery call with me. The links for all of that, it's in my bio. Coach, do you click/look into other women's profiles and whatnot? Or is that deceitful? I don't do that. I mean, occasionally when I'm talking to someone on here on my live, I go on my phone to see what their profile says. Sometimes to see how old they are, like that AJ. It takes time for things to work out. You got to practice putting it into your life day to day. Yeah. Personally, I don't think watching is cheating, but interacting with the live ones is. I need to check out the Betrayal Trauma Group. Might be good. Oh, there you are, Patricia. My husband says it's a lighter form of cheating. So it's what? It's like cheating minus. It's like the medium rare version of cheating. Does he feel good about that, she? Like, I'm only slightly cheating on my wife. I feel good now. All right, Patricia, what's going on?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me pretty well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously my standpoint on it is I do agree that it's cheating. I mean, in a relationship, I believe you're supposed to be committed to that one person all around. And like, I'm so bad with it when it comes to that, because like even watching like maybe TV shows or movies, a lot of times it has like, nudity and stuff in it anymore because it's so normalized. So I steer away from that as well. But with my current partner, before we got together, he had admitted to me that he had an addiction to it. And I guess starting from his really early teen years, and he's 26 now. And I follow other creators who are like on this topic and stuff. And so in previous relationships, I've struggled with, they knew I was against it, but I would find it on their phone. And so obviously the betrayal trauma is there. But my partner, after telling me that, he still says he's not done it or like looked at it since we've been together. And I just struggle so much with that trust. Like, them doing that definitely damages more than just them.
Yeah. Yo, I'm sorry you're in that situation. So have you had a conversation with him about it?
I do occasionally because, with it being a negative thing, I don't want to keep, throwing it in his face or anything. There's been a few occasions where I've needed to maybe look at his phone or something for kind of physical, like, reassurance. I know he did have a thing with preferring to use private browser on his iPhone. But we compromised and was able to take the private browser off of there to make me more comfortable with that. But, now still I know it's a possibility to delete history. And whenever I have asked him to look, he kind of low-key gets a little defensive about it. So it kind of worries me. And also, like, these other creators make it seem like it's impossible to quit cold turkey like that.
Well,
Especially if it's been...
nothing's impossible. However, it's highly unlikely that they're going to quit cold turkey.
Yeah, that's what kind of crushes me, because I'm like, well, I don't know if it's, if he's one of those cases where maybe he was able to, because he's been more, let's see, like working on his faith, like in Christianity and stuff and things like that. So he tells me that he wants to, use that to help him and everything, but he says he hasn't done it. But then these other things are saying, highly unlikely to quit like that. So I don't know if I should be worried or not.
Do you think he's watching porn and or hiding something from you and or not telling the full truth?
I do struggle with it. I mean, most of it's due to past relationships too, of it occurring. Because we're in this relationship with him, I've not actually seen anything or found anything at this point. But, I know that things can be deleted.
Yeah. Well, so I actually just had a chat with a friend of mine the other day who performs weddings. And he said in his counseling with people before they get married, he actually now has them sign an agreement between the two of them that's an open phone / open device policy. That's anytime, anywhere, any place. If I say, hey, let me see what's on your phone, it's here you go. My question for you is, do you think you would get any resistance if anytime, anywhere, any place you made a request to see his phone and look at what's on it?
I feel like yes, because then he gets defensive and be like, do you not trust me and this and that.
Do you trust him?
See, I trust him not to like chat with other girls and like, those kinds of things, but I can't say I fully trust him not going on a site and viewing things like that, of that nature, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you don't fully trust him with that?
No.
Okay. Well, what request are you wanting to make of him?
Well, he knows. The thing is too, like, he already knows that I would I would have to leave the relationship if he had another slip up of it, it's just one thing really big for me that I don't really, not able to tolerate in a relationship.
Okay.
So that's
So
why I feel like maybe he would be more prone to going more towards hiding it. But then again, like I've heard things like, trust your gut and stuff like that. But my gut's always telling me, something bad's going to happen, or I'm going to find something, or he's doing something. So
yeah,
I'm not real sure.
well, if there's anything I've learned is a woman's intuition is rarely wrong, right? AKA
Yeah.
trust your gut. But again, what request do you wanted to make of him?
Well, I mean, obviously I don't want him to do it at all, period.
That's not a
The thing
request.
that I did,
What request you
well,
wanted to make of him? What do you wanted to ask him? What do you wanted to get clarity on with him?
well, I mean, I typically come to it in a calm manner, and I'm like, are you doing something, and then like deleting it or like doing stuff behind my back, and so
Okay,
that
so
I wouldn't
okay,
know.
I know you're speaking like off the cuff. This isn't a real conversation with him. But if you go, hey, are you doing something or doing it behind my back? I would have no idea what you're talking about. I could claim I have no idea what you're talking about. The way that you language that was very indirect.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So when I'm with him, it's usually, okay, I will say, because he knows what I mean, because we've had many discussions on the
Yep.
topic, so I
But
will ask him if he
here's how
goes
these
too
guys operate.
silent.
And I can tell you this because I used to do this. If somebody would have asked me, hey, do you watch porn? In that exact moment, in that precise moment, I just made a decision in my mind that I no longer watch porn. So when I answer you and I say, no, I don't watch porn, I'm not lying because I just decided that I don't watch porn anymore. So I can think I'm telling you the truth. But the heart of your question, the spirit of your question is, have you been watching porn? When was the last time you were watching porn? Has there been any hidden porn use in the relationship? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you got to get really clear and specific with those questions. Hey, when was the last time you watched porn?
That's another thing too, because before we went into like the official dating stage, he said that he hadn't viewed it for maybe like 5 or 6 days before the night that he admitted to me the so-called addiction. But then like the time frame changed later on.
So he got caught in a lie.
Kind of.
Hold on,
I mean,
hold on, hold on,
that's
hold
how
on,
I viewed it.
hold on. How is that kind of? He gave one answer at one point and then later gave another answer.
Well, I mean, he
That's
typically does that
not
on other fronts
truthful.
too, so.
Okay, so he has a pattern of being dishonest. Whether he's intentionally lying or not, it's at a minimum forgetfulness.
Yes.
At
At least
maximum intentional and willful deceit, aka direct lying.
Yes, I guess you could say
Not
that.
not kind of, Patricia. It is.
Yeah, I realize that.
Well, yeah, and just notice how you're not wanting to actually see what it seems like the evidence is pretty clearly pointing to, from what you've told me.
Yeah, and I've seen like, so about the first month of our relationship, we wanted to be like completely transparent, open communication, open phone policy. And for about the first month, I didn't really feel an urge to check a phone. We had really good communication. We could, work things out without, things going into an argument. And it seems like maybe within the past week or two, whenever maybe occasionally I'll bring an issue to the table, he gets defensive, immediately like turns the table, starts bringing up every issue he has with me. And even when it comes to the phone, I remember 2 occasions that I was like, okay, do you care if I, get a little bit of reassurance and check the phone? And it's like he's real hesitant about it, but eventually he gives in, but I don't find anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I don't know the guy. Give him the benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah.
he's got to make sure everything's off of the device before he gives it to you. And I mean, I get it. You guys are dating, but it's like you got to ask yourself the question: why would someone not want me to see what's on their phone? They're hiding something. Maybe there's not porn. Maybe, maybe it's if you're just dating, maybe it's like financial information or something. But here's the thing. Just be honest. Hey, I got it. All right, look, you know what? I don't need to see the phone, but can you tell me why you're so hesitant with letting me see what's on your phone? And then what's the reason?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to tell you, then all right, that gives you information as well.
Yeah, I've went into that and how the whole defensiveness and hesitant behavior kind of makes me feel, and he doesn't really give much thought to it. But I'm just kind of stuck in between because it's like I've never seen physical proof from him, and whenever I ask for the phone, he doesn't get on and change anything. Like, he'll just hold on to it for a little bit, like, right there in front of me. He doesn't turn it on or anything, but then eventually he'll give it over. But I still don't find anything. But I also don't know where all the places to look because I'm not really the best with all of that.
Yeah. Well, think about getting really clear on what you're wanting to ask him and ask of him. And notice when you're like shutting yourself down, that's you, avoiding a conversation, which usually means it's going to rear its head bigger in the future than it would today.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if it maybe didn't really matter or if there was a point in doing so, but I had a conversation with him and I said, I understand that it was a major problem for you, me not knowing if it is now, but because it's hard
is
for
there
me
a
to
train in
fathom.
the background?
There is. I am at work.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That thing happens every night. So I know that it was a big struggle for him. So he said it was an addiction, 2-3 times a day for all these years. And it's just hard for me to fathom how one could quit it cold turkey like that. Even bringing in religion and
How
stuff
old
like
is he?
that. 26.
All right. And how long ago was it that he said that it had been 5 days since he'd watched porn?
Let's see. We started dating.
Like, was that a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
No, this was only less than 2 months ago.
Okay, 2 months ago. So this guy's 26 years old. Statistically, he started watching porn around the age of 13, which means he has about 10 to 15 years of practice doing it.
Yes.
And he's claiming that he's all of a sudden done with it and still exhibiting some of what I would say are the symptoms of somebody who's hiding something. So again, anything's possible. But the data suggests, this comes from Dr. Doug Weiss, that the odds of relapse within 6 months is basically 100% if you don't get intentional or professional help. And my experience would reflect that as well. Even when somebody does get intentional help, they relapse. So is it possible he's been clean for 2 months? Maybe. I don't know. My bigger question for you, though, is what are you really wanting? And you said you've got kind of a history or pattern of the same thing in your relationships. So what needs to change for you so that this situation stops happening?
Girl, I just wish I knew of a clear answer because that's where I'm struggling on. Because, for me, it's hard to really say, I guess, for sure, unless I see something physically there, like on the phone. But, I've not found anything.
Yeah, but whether or not you find anything, you're going to have this question because there's not a foundation of trust. It sounds like in your relationship. So, anyways, I'm going to move on here. Read this book, The Betrayal Bind. It's very good. It'll blow your mind.
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for sharing. Bye bye. Please let me join. I have a good solution to the problem. Oh, great. Unsolicited advice. Just what everybody wants. Oh, Jade, what's this thing? Take a black light to their pants? I mean, that's the. I'm sorry. I mean, how dumb does somebody have to be to do it? I mean, to leave that type of evidence right there. However, we do get the whole sock thing all the time, which still blows my mind when people are like, "Oh, I do his laundry. You got to check the socks." It's like, how dumb are you, dude? Like, if you don't do your own laundry and then you leave it in the socks, it's like, not only is that disgusting, but, anyways. Who thinks I should let J-Jet on to give some unsolicited advice? All right. I'm going to let J-Jet give unsolicited advice, and then we all get to give J-Jet unsolicited advice back. Hey there, what's going on?
Hey.
All right, let's hear it.
So, one thing that happened with me is, so I had a girlfriend, or she's still my girlfriend. We used to have a problem with me watching porn. And I guess I kind of did stop cold turkey, as I guess you would say. Because she thought, like, as the thing says on your thing, porn is cheating. That's what she thought.
It's not what it says. It says, is porn cheating? It's a question, not a statement.
Well, I think it is now. I used to not really care what she thought about it. But I ended up blocking the porn sites from my phone. And that is one thing that I was able to kind of keep myself from doing that. And now I literally don't have a way to do it. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that, I don't know if you think that sounds stupid or not.
If what sounds stupid?
Giving my girlfriend access to block those websites from my phone. Like, I can't do it. It's been
You're asking me if I think that sounds stupid?
Yeah.
Why would it matter to you if I think that's stupid or not?
Well, I was just curious what you thought, because I've been listening to you for probably another, like, an hour and a half or so.
Yeah. I think that's great. You're having your girlfriend be your accountability partner, which it's not her job. Right?
It is not her job. It should be my job, and I wasn't able to control it.
Well,
and I
no, I mean,
the
it could
ability
be somebody
to
else's
control
job. You know, like have other people, maybe other men in your life who have overcome this, have them be the accountability partner, as opposed to having your girlfriend do it. It's not bad or wrong, right? But you know,
well, now it's something we both don't even have to think about.
Yeah, and that's great. So the way that has turned out for you is a really healthy tool. Typically, when people have their partner or their spouse be their accountability partner on one of the typical apps that flag things, is it can be re-traumatizing to the partner, because every time she will say gets an alert, she's going to go right back to the point of betrayal and spiral.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about, you know, like just blocking sites, I mean, that won't be in play with regard to getting the alerts on her phone. But yeah, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's a great step.
There's literally no way for me to get on those sites. I mean, at this point, I really don't even have a desire to get on those kind of sites.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good.
it's been over a year, but I feel like it's kind of like been a blessing because it's something I don't even have to worry about anymore. Because when we first started dating, she was like, "I don't want you to be on those kind of sites," and I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Then the one
Yeah.
time she saw that I was on those sites, that's when problems started. Because I told her like, "Oh yeah, I definitely am. I'm not," but I was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now it's everything's kind of been fixed because of that.
All right.
But yeah, that's just a weird circumstance where I feel like that is nice to just not even be able to get onto those because I don't have a computer myself. I just have my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no other way for me to even access that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah.
All right. See ya. I need 14 more followers before I go to bed. I don't need them. I want them so I can get to the next to 29.6. I'm almost at 30,000. Let's go. Can you guys follow me? If you don't follow Jade, really? You've been on here for 2 hours and you're just now following me? Come on. Thank you for following. Like and share, people, although I'm going to wind it down here soon. This is boring. All right, Chloe. Well, I'll bring you on. You better make it interesting or you're the problem.
Oh, I have so many stories.
What's going
I
on?
had a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend that her husband was into pornography, and she caught him one day. She had been out of town and came back, and she caught him with a Playboy and a towel and all that stuff. And she was bawling and carrying on, and I said, "Come on, let's run to Circle K and get a Playgirl." And so we ran to Circle K and we got a Playgirl, and she hid it on the side of her bed, and he found it, and he was crying and carrying on. And she said, "What's the problem? You look at it." He never looked at one again. That she knows of.
There you go. That'll do it. But by the way, Chloe, somebody said you're boring in the comments, so now you know
No, I
how
said,
it feels. No, somebody else said
I'm
you're
boring.
boring.
That wasn't boring.
All right.
No,
What's
but
going on?
anyway, when I was dating my husband in high school, he was really, really into it. And I didn't know it, but after we got married, he never did look at it. I told him that he didn't. He knew it would hurt me, and he never looked at it again. Some men can do that. Most can't, but it is possible. I just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some men can do it, and some men it's a lifelong addiction. I'm just glad it wasn't for him.
How old were you guys when you got married?
20.
Okay.
Married
So you got
40
married pretty
years.
Yeah, so you're so and I believe you, by the way. You're at an age where you guys were not dealing with what people deal with today with regard to pornography.
True.
And
True, it's
crazy.
bad. It's everywhere. I don't know how kids even stay out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, almost 100% of kids see it in some capacity by the time they're 13.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Dang internet, but
Yeah.
anyway, thank you for letting me pipe in.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, bye.
Bree, I want to address the whole private investigator thing. If you're open to it, are you open to my thoughts on that? How do we find the ones that don't? How do you know? You got to ask them. Or Jade. Who am I trying to talk to? Jade? Well, I'll give you my thoughts anyways. If you're trying to play private investigator, it's the wrong game to play. All right, because Jade's the PI. Because then you're just orienting everything about what's the next best way to catch them. And then you'll find it. And then you'll have this conversation. It'll be like, "I told you so." And then you'll think you might trust him for a second, and then you'll be right back to it, and then you'll stop trusting him again, and then you'll put your private investigator hat on. It's fun. It's a great distraction from actually addressing the issue, but it's not actually getting to the heart of what's going on and really how you're feeling. I wouldn't want to be on her bad side as well. So you got to play a different game. You know, I look at all these betrayal groups, right? I won't name any of them. I have one. I have a free betrayal group on my Discord, and I even stopped promoting it. And I'm not talking bad about my Discord. However, and maybe some of you are in there, it's honestly, a lot of it is just like, how can I find him? What's the next best way to catch him? Is he still, it's like, bless your heart if that's where you're at, but also just notice you're not leading to a lot of change if that's the realm you're sticking in. Again, back to what I read earlier in the betrayal bind, it's moving from powerlessness to taking agency for yourself. So, have I seen Jason Stage's podcast? No, I don't know who that is. I've seen Jason Kelsey's podcast. How do you take agency? All right, do I need to read this again? There's a couple good lines in here. Join one of my groups, that's how. It's one way. For these reasons, betrayal trauma treatment focuses on helping us move out of powerlessness into a state of personal empowerment. Here's how. Learning to set boundaries, manage our trauma symptoms, shift our mindset and core beliefs, find and use our voice, get a blacklight and look at his pants. Nope, I made that one up. That's not in here. And ask for what we need are all part of effective treatment. However, as discussed above, the fear of potential loss that learning new skills creates is a significant barrier for betrayed partners. These very skills and behaviors that can resolve the torturous feeling of powerlessness are the same skills that may create more loss, shame, and yes, more powerlessness. Operating from our personal power center, where we make choices for ourselves that are good for us and move us towards the life we want, also brings us face to face with our powerlessness over our cheating partner. We cannot make our partner do what we want them to do or want the same things we want. This is yet another relational bind that betrayed partners face on the path to healing. To move out of powerlessness into empowerment, we must first be able to tolerate our powerlessness over our partner's choices and behaviors. So again, if you're focusing so much on him and his behaviors, what you're not doing is standing in your own power, acknowledging your powerlessness over him or her, and saying, you know what, I just got to focus on setting boundaries, unwinding the things that I've learned, declaring what it is that I am up to in life, and take a stand against this in my relationship. Are there spy cameras and phone apps I'm not even aware of? Jade, what's in your kit? Jade's probably got all the tools. All right. I'm going to wind this down soon. I'll take maybe one or two more. Who wants to come on here? Chris is Southern style. Love you, bro. Right back at you, Chris. Totally unrelated, but dry eyes and frequent urination are commonly diabetes. Oh my gosh. Are you fat shaming me? Is that what this is about? My eyes aren't dry, it's just midnight. I use the drops. They don't need to be lubricated. It just makes the redness go away, first of all. Second of all, I've had blood work done recently and everything's fine with regard to diabetes and pre-diabetes. Third of all, my frequent urination. I love how you're calling it frequent urination. I drink so much water and coffee throughout the day and I pee all the time. So stop judging me. I didn't ask for your advice. See, people don't like unsolicited advice. If you would have said, hey, may I offer you a suggestion on what dry eyes and frequent urination could mean? I might have said, yeah, I'm open to that. But instead, you're shaming me. Oh my gosh. I appreciate good looking out though. You know, as an influencer, I hope that if I ever develop like skin cancer on my face, that somebody cares enough about me to be like, Austin, you might want to get that checked out. There's actually a creator who somebody spotted like something on their hand, a dermatologist, and was like, and took a screenshot and sent it to him and was like, that's a whatever. And they got it taken care of. So I appreciate it. You saw that? Yeah. Hi there, what's going on? SoCal Girl 63.
What the fuck?
Hello? You there? Did you do this by accident? Does anybody over there watch porn? Now's the time. Okay. Glad I'm healthy though. Thank you. Appreciate it. User 733-652-0860-314. How's the time? It's 11:37. Yeah, I'm up way past my bedtime when I'm up this late. And then my sleep gets off. Like I felt great tonight because I wasn't live for a few nights. But I can't do the whole go to bed at midnight, 1:00 thing, and then wake up and deal with 3 kids at 6 or 7 in the morning and then do it all over again. It really takes a toll on me. I'm not young anymore. I'm an old man. When you go overboard tapping the screen. What? 27,000. Love that. Oh, you've done that? Oh, I get it. When you're just trying to tap and then you find yourself you're on a live talking about porn. It's good you're devoting so much time to talk about this. It's needed today. Thank you. Well, thank you, She. You're welcome. I need some crazy stories. Can't imagine things. I've heard a lot. Oh my gosh. Is it me? Why is somebody coming on here? Everyone fell. Yeah, I guess everyone did fall asleep. Hey there, what's going on? Hello. 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 Paracha Jade. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Can you hear me? Over here. I'm stuck in this phone. Help. I think this is a sign. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to go to bed. See you, Chris. Let's hear about the tracker and bike. Oh my gosh. Hey there,
Can you hear me?
Robo. Yeah, what's going on?
It's Rob.
Rob.
Nothing. I've been on for a couple of hours now. Yeah, I do think porn is cheating. I think, and I mean, obviously, for not every relationship, but I think if that is the expectation, I mean, I think if you're in a monogamous relationship, it 100% is cheating to look at anything other than your companion for sexual desire and pleasure. I think I've struggled with that, and I lost the woman that I love because of it. So,
Sorry to hear that. Because you were watching it or she was watching it?
because I was.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. That I wasn't willing to get help, and she begged me, and I think that if I had made changes sooner and got help sooner, I would. Yeah, she did ask me to stop, Jade, and it wasn't even so much the me doing it, but it was the shame I felt and the hiding and the disconnection, and she could feel that lack of authenticity.
Were you guys married?
So yes, still are technically.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Is it's cheating if you're in a relationship where you feel like you have to hide it, where you have to hide those parts of yourself. You feel like your spouse feels it. All these people who are, let's say, and like, oh, I want to look through his phone and stuff. Like, if you're feeling like that's the case, that there's something to it. A woman's intuition is very strong.
Yeah. So you guys are going through a divorce or separation right now. Have you now tried to get help for it?
Yeah, I've been going to a therapist for a couple of years now. I really, I mean, I haven't talked to anyone about it. I think you're the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, but connection is, it's something I'm really looking towards. I haven't even told the people about the separation, let alone the thing I'm so shameful of. And
Why is that?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed, and I'm hoping that it's just temporary, and I know it's not. It's been almost a year that we've been separated. And we have kids, so it's not like she has to live with that betrayal, and I hate seeing it.
Yeah. What's that touching for you as you're getting emotional?
Yeah, I don't know. I've struggled with it for years and on and off, and I grew up extremely religious, so it was like always this bad thing, always this thing that I was trying to overcome, and I tried to stop so many times, and I don't know. It's been the hardest thing I've struggled with my whole life, and I hate that this person that I loved suffered because of the thing that I have so much pain from. It wasn't fair to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did it start for you? When did you start watching porn?
About 11 years old. 32 now, so long time.
Yeah. And did anybody know that you were exposed to it, or?
Occasionally I'd feel a bunch of shame and guilt, and I'd admit it to a pastor, but never my parents, never my best friends. It's only ever been the women I've been in relationships with, and that's because it does affect me, and I do feel shame, and I admit it, and then I relapse and I hide it again, and it just starts back over.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, man. That's tough. Well, there's, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection with other people. We need to be connected. It's so important to be connected and to have people who actually know what's going on in our life, to be able to unpack these things and process them. Did you and your wife ever get counseling or any help?
We tried a little bit. I have had a very low emotional IQ, pretty much until I started therapy and started realizing a lot of things. And so I was pretty resistant to even admitting I had a problem or recognizing that there was this disconnection and this. I mean, I knew I was hiding it, and I knew I felt shame, but didn't realize how much it was affecting her as well. So we tried. I wasn't not putting up in as much effort as I know I should have. And she just decided she couldn't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you clean now from porn?
No, I struggle. I try, and then I relapse, and it's really hard because I'm alone most of the time, unless I got my kids, and it's that drive to avoid the negative emotions, to avoid being bored, and so it's more of a reactive thing. It's something to do instead of feel something negative or bad.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about your feelings?
Yes.
We did this in one of my groups this week, and this comes straight out of a book, which I don't know the name of right now, so don't ask me.
Okay.
But the prompt is, the question is, with regard to learning about feelings, is growing up, what feelings were you allowed to feel, or did you feel like you were allowed to feel or not feel?
The only only thing I was allowed to express was anger, pretty much. All of my other feelings were inconvenient. I was a middle child of a lot of kids, and I was the ignored, forgotten, and so the only way I got attention was causing trouble, being angry, and that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah. So that's how you were seen, was expressing anger?
Yes.
Yeah. And what did you learn to label as negative feelings?
All feelings. Like
pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. Like I struggle to feel even the good feelings because I never was celebrated or had any of that positive affirmations either. I just was, my negative ones were not tolerated, and my positive ones were never reinforced, and anger's all I had.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anger is pointing you towards change. It's trying to protect you and defend you and help you make a change, which it sounds like when you were a kid, that's what you're really wanting, is you're wanting something to change or be different.
Yeah, I definitely say so.
Yeah. And so here you are as an adult, not having a good understanding of what to do with your feelings.
Yeah, what to do at all. I feel so lost.
Yeah. Well, what's next for you?
I don't know. I've just been trying to take care of myself, keep working, take care of my son. I don't know, just surviving.
Yeah. Well, man, I'd encourage you to get involved in community, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether that's a faith community or a 12-step community. There's, in my experience, not only personally, but working with other men, that when you start speaking this to the light, when you start speaking the shame to the light, it loses its power over you. Shame festers in the darkness, but it can't stand being spoken to the light.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and so when you do that, it's going to be scary as hell. You know, it sounds like you're pretty practiced at not telling people what's really going on for you authentically.
Yeah.
But what you'll find, not in every environment, but in most, is that pretty much everybody else is dealing with the same things you are. I'm not saying pornography, but the same different feelings inside, just to different degrees at different times. We're not that much different as we make it seem to be. And when you can really tap in and express, you know, at a core level what's going on for you, a lot of freedom can occur because you realize you're not that different. You're not as alone as you thought you were. You'll feel more connected. I've never had an experience with a guy in a group, you know, say it's their first time or they disclose something where it doesn't create more connection amongst the group. It always is an invitation for more connection amongst the group when somebody openly or honestly shares what's going on for them.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage you to find a place to do that.
Yeah.
Or trusted people. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Take care, man.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bedtime. There's a reason wild beasts, wildebeest? Or are you saying wild beasts or wildebeest? Run in a herd, there's protection from danger in a group. Yeah. And there's also a reason why we put our most dangerous criminals in isolation, solitary confinement, because it's pretty much the most torturing thing that we know how to do to human beings. Is just put them in a room with no light, no human contact. And yet, for some reason, we do it to ourselves. All right, everyone. Great being with you tonight. There's always hope. There's always hope. No matter what you're dealing with, that's my assertion to you is that there's always hope. I don't know what that means for you specifically, but there's always hope. You just got to find it. You got to keep on pushing forward, creating the experience of life that is rewarding for you and those around you. By the way, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coach as well as group coaching. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with betrayal trauma. If you're interested in scheduling a call with me or joining one of my groups, go to link in my bio. It does cost money. I don't work for free. I do TikTok for free, though. But if you're interested in any of that, go to link in my bio, send me a DM. And until next time, we'll see you. Do you get your followers? Did I get my followers I wanted? I don't know. I forgot to check. Oh, shoot. I didn't. Can I get some more followers? I must need like 5. If you guys don't follow me, can you follow me? Let's get to 29.6. What am I at? I need 7 more. Oh, yeah. Follow my backup account, too. The link in my bio, it says at Austin Hamilton. Will you go follow that account, too? Let's see. Where are we at? I need 3 more. 3 more. Please. I feel so dumb begging for followers. Have I sold out? Do I have not done an unpopular opinion tonight. What would you like me to give an unpopular opinion about tonight? I feel like if I give too many unpopular opinions, I'm going to have to create a full-blown political account. I learned something new every live. Thanks, Austin. Kayla, what'd you learn? Hide under a blanket from everything in a dark room. No thanks. Would you do narration for audible adult entertainment? No. I would narrate books, but not adult entertainment. Was that an offer? Yeah, if you guys would follow my backup account. I forgot to promote that tonight, but whatever. We'll get it to 1,000 soon. Dorcas, Beverly Ann Dorcas Roberson. It's a very biblical name, Dorcas. Yes, it's an offer. My husband tells me he watches and we are fine. You're fine until you're not fine. All right, we've made it over the 29.6 mark. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, someone followed me on Twitch too. Thanks for that. All right, great being with y'all tonight. Make it a great day or not. The choice is always yours. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.